Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rogue Bitch. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Sit down, grab a drink, and chill. How's it hanging? How's it hanging? Before we begin, can I do the regularly scheduled streamer thing of begging for subs and money and bits and tips and tits? Fucking estrogen, man. Anyway. You love the look. Thank you, Kez. I've been in a few streams recently. Besta. Not gonna actually kiss my finger because I've got black lipstick on. Go back real quick. Sounds good. Sub or I whack you. I've been in a few streams recently. Genuinely. And they just... it works. It works for them. For these particular people. And I honestly do this to take the piss. Whenever I ask for subs, it's to take the piss. I do not genuinely mean it. Because we're going through a pandemic and a lot of people don't have money at the moment. Thank you for the posture check. Fox, my back actually hurts tonight. I don't know why. And nice pentagrams, thank you. I love this dress. I need to get more goth stuff. But yeah, I've been in a few streams recently where they just genuinely, not even fucking around here, not even messing around. They just ask for subs and it's like, can we get a hype train? And it just happens. Now, these are different types of streamers to me. The end of my sheet on my bed is just hanging off and it's the most grungy looking shit. Look at that. That's disgusting. I'm glad you're in the way, chat, so that you can't see that normally. But yeah, I do need a more ergonomically sound chair. Amy... We'll come back to the whinging about subs and shit thing in a second. Amy. Just for a second. I'll tell you something right now. Before, not even going into, no, it's just pentagrams. Honestly, no word of a lie. I fucking hate the band Him. I just genuinely, I associated that with a bunch of real assholes during my teens. The people who liked that band were cunts. So I've associated that band with cunts. So I just refuse to listen to their music.
You are now one of us.
Thank you, Kes, for the sub. There we go. Speaking of goths and elderly people. Good morning, Mr. Dude Guy, sir. Anyway. Just making a point. I wanted to make a point to Amy, though. First and foremost. Person who did my earrings, which are still just studs, by the way. I should get something like... You know what I should get? I should hit up Pinnipy and be like, where'd you get those massive, You got these massive, like, big, pentagram earrings. Big black pentagram earrings. I should, like, steal that off her. But anyway, the person who did my piercings was a lady covered in tattoos. She was easily in her mid-60s. Covered in piercings... And I just went on Google for the heck of it, and I typed in old goths, and you know what I found? Well, they look like young goths, but I'm finding a bunch of old people who are goth to all fuck, and we love to see it. Okay? We fucking love to see... I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your age is. They're not old. They're like maybe mid-30s at the oldest, but look at this couple here. Oh my god. May I just formally state for the record, hashtag goals. Look at that fucking dress she's wearing, my goodness. Or is it a coat? I think it's a coat. Regardless, you are never too old for goth. You are never too anything for goth. These are young goth people, that doesn't count. But this one in particular. Damn, Nana. Look at this. I genuinely can't tell how old this person is. But I want these things. You see these arm warmers? I know they're on a website that I frequent that I haven't bought anything from yet. And I really want to get them. Anyway. I love goth. I adore it. It is my favorite thing. And honestly, how do you style that? Lots and lots of hairspray. Has to be. Have you guys seen the, have you folks? Folks is gender neutral, guys is not. The the pompadours of Japan. The rockabilly dudes in Japan. Have you seen these dudes? With their just obscene haircuts. Look at this majesty. Look at them. I mean, it's the hair. It's the hair, alright? It's the hair. The retro rockabilly gangs of Tokyo. They're sick. They're fucking awesome. I worry that they have some, like, probably, like... I always worry when I see a subculture that it's like, these people look really cool, and then I worry that they may have a, And by the way, Fox, I guess we're on your topic that you presented. There are elderly goth people, and now we're just talking about the goth brand as a whole, I suppose. Yeah, but I do worry about, like, subcultures. I do worry about subcultures. For those who are unaware, I suppose subculture would be defined as something that is, you know, culture as a whole is a lot of what we consider in our society, right? But a subculture is a specific, you know, little, as the name implies, a little cluster of people, like goths, like ravers, like whatever, where they fit specifically into their niche. So, you know, if you say Japanese culture, you refer to the whole. You refer to American culture, you refer to the whole of America, like broad concepts. You refer to Australian culture as an example of Australian culture. Fish and chip shops, mate. Vegemite. Unfortunately, Jimmy Barnes. I don't like him. I'm not a fan of Jimmy Barnes, but he is very much a part of the Australian culture. Holden. Anyway. Going to the fucking beach. Hello, Amanda Panda. I'm not a fan of Jimmy Barnes, but anyway. You can legally fuck Baby Yoda. Why would you bring that up, Broken? I would argue in the case of Baby Yoda, I doubt that creature is old enough in its own culture, in its own race to consent. So, look up Wigger Slam. Why? Honestly, I thought... Here's the thing about Friendly Geordies, is that I haven't watched him in a minute. I just sort of stopped watching him, but he put out a video that actually does interest me. Maybe, you know what? Because Friendly Geordies did put out a video that interests me. Let's watch it. Should we watch it? He's got a ton of videos on, like, Married at First Sight and shit. And I'm like, why are you watching normal television? But he put out a video on the bloke what was accused of rape in Parliament. Christian Porter, the rapist minister of, I forget, minister of, what's his fucking role, for goodness sake. Hold on. Australian Liberal Party politician and lawyer serving as Attorney General of Australia since 2017 is Christian Porter, who has been accused recently, Minister of Rape, accused recently of raping a woman in 1996 in Parliament House, right? And Friendly Geordies has put up a video about this guy. Shall we watch it? Now, personally, I don't know what to think of Friendly Geordies. He strikes me as a fairly lefty kind of character, but he has said a few things that are controversial, apparently, that might skew people away from... I don't know. But, like, he strikes me as a lefty, and I mean, that's a good start. There you go, Badger. Damn it! I tried to make a very light tap on the lips so as to not get my lipstick, and I fucked it up. Also, I did absolutely fuck up my lipstick tonight. I tried to fix it. Don't know if you can see it, but there were like little splotches and all that. You like the gloves? Let me throw this out there. These are very tight. They're elastic, so they stretch, but they are very tight. And I guarantee you my hands are going to hurt after the fact. Do I use cream or liquid? Cream or liquid for what? We've sort of gone off the hair discussion, and I've missed a few things. Rena, I'm so sorry. Giant tub of pink hair gel that smelled like rubber. Ew. But yes, goth is for everybody. OG goths, even if they were in their teens in the 80s, would be mid-late 50s now. Honestly, it's kind of like the Oh, do you mean for this, for the lipstick? I just use stick lipstick, so whatever that is. But I bought a lipstick today, which honestly sucks so much dick. I shouldn't say that, sorry. Oh my god, this is the problem with language. Nothing wrong with sucking dick. This lipstick is terrible. And I thought it would be a decent one. It's not. It was like a peach color, and it just didn't take at all. Yeah, homophobia. Dude, I am cancelling myself every night on stream nowadays. You're going on a bit of the piss tonight. What are you drinking, Jay? My relationship with my father is fine. Why do you ask? Yeah, LGB. Shut up. I'm a transphobe. And then Lexi saying the same thing. I have been a transphobe. I would love to raid her, honestly. I'd love to raid Lexi. She seems really cool. And I complained about this. We'll watch this Geordie's video in a sec. Good morning. Good evening. Oh, it's not good morning. Good evening. Strongbows, not bad. Vodka Cruisers, not bad. The dick was peach color. Really recommend liquid or the giant crayons. I gotta try the crayons. I've seen those around. There was a place I went to recently where I bought that cute white top with like the frilly sleeves the other day. They had a bunch of like, cruelty-free makeup there, but it was like $25 for a lipstick, and I'm like, no, I will not, thank you. Mud shakes or mud cakes? Oh, I'm the trashy demon. Enjoy that lurk. I'm sorry if I've missed your messages. I'm so sorry. I feel rude. Shall we watch Australian Psycho by Friendly Geordies? I don't normally do react. I mean, we've done reaction content a few times now, but you know. Also, Geordie snuck into another big politician's house recently. If you have not seen his video, Bruz, just B-R-U-Z, it's a fucking banger. It's a ContraPoints level quality video. Bruz is fantastic. But anyway, his usual content is a bit more like this, is what we're about to watch. Which I guess he's probably going to explain in some capacity what happened with this bloke in Parliament House. We're going to talk Geordies. We just want to watch this one video. Because I've enjoyed some of his content, not so much some of his other content. And, I think you have a point there, Raptor Shadow. It's like dunking on bad politicians, but his inability to take criticism is insufferable. Understandable. Reaction content is the worst. Isn't the worst. Makes for good debate interaction. Yeah, well, half an hour now. Let's put down half an hour, because I guarantee I'm going to pause it every, 3 seconds to make a comment that'll go for 2 minutes. Anyway, I tend to do that. Check out the gear he's wearing. And we'll
Today's video is going to be... What?
No, you're not wearing that.
Why not?
It's a serious video.
Yeah, but it's a gag in itself.
No, it's a serious video, and you always wear dark. Do you remember the nuclear video?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I genuinely, unironically, there's a place you can go online and you can buy all those shirts. They've got a ton of different Dragon Ball Z themed shirts. Hold still for. Do I still have it? Oh fuck! You know what? Give me a second. Stay there for a second. Let me just see. I bought something very similar. These are very, I'm going to point this out right now. This is a very poor quality shirt he's wearing. It's a very poor quality elastic shirt with a print on all over it. Front and back, sleeves, everything. Really cool, but they're piss poor quality. Let me see if I've got something here. Hang on. I get the suspicion I no longer have it. Alright. I'll concede defeat on this one. I don't think I have it. I'm sorry. This is a Dangerfield dress. I think they're out of stock now, though, sadly, and they don't tend to restock things. I had one of these shirts, like the one he's wearing in the start of the video, and it was a Deadpool thing. I also have a full-face Deadpool mask. for reasons that elude me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's watch the video. I just wanted to bring that up.
And that turned out right.
Take it off.
I took it off. What?
Put something else on.
Yeah. Okay, you asked for it then. All right, let's get up. All right, I'll put it on. All right, there's going to be no visual gags because my editors are square. But today's video is all about how the Liberal government treats whistleblowers. Enjoy.
Okay, Dangerfield, the brand that always gives you respect. Wait, what do you mean? I'm reading that as sarcastic. Enjoy that, Lurk Vampire. Hello, Excelsior, how you going? I know, like, can we just talk about... Before we're 36 seconds in, we haven't looked at the content at all yet. This man used to be a model. He used to be a model. Actually, let me look this up just so that I can clarify for you. He's a very pretty man. He is a very, very... Look at this. This is Jordan Shanks. Friendly Geordies. He is a very, very pretty man. Like, categorically. By the definition of what you would call handsome, Jordan Shanks is a handsome fellow. Is that really him? That doesn't look like him. It looks like someone else. Oh, Rodney Dangerfield. Okay. Ha. But yeah, he used to model and then he went into doing YouTube stuff and it really took off for him, so he's stuck with that. He does look like he should be in a boy band. He does. Anyway. And this is why you're buying.
Joy. You want to know something really, really annoying? Well, when politicians or elites commit crimes, and then someone tells of them, it's usually not the criminal politician who's punished.
I have to say, I'm glad my face is not shaped like his. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some very hot women who've got some strong jawlines. I mean, I'm trying to think of one. Give me some examples of women, notable women with strong jawlines, because I'm like blanking at the moment. But there are some ladies out there. Olivia Wilde. Oh my god. That's a jawline. We're just going to talk about jawlines. Fuck the fascism. Fuck the politics. We're going to talk about jawlines. Jawlines and cheekbones, which your girls got. You can see over here. I've got no jaw. I've got, like, nothing. That's not there. But cheekbones, I can do cheekbones. A lighthearted discussion about fascism. We'll get to fascism, I promise. Joey Patfall, do it now. Okay, hang on. We talk about it all here. We like to have fun here. We are going to talk about fascism, though. Joey Patfall. Yeah, it's okay. It's alright. Joel Patfall. Sorry, I misread that. I copy pasted it. It's okay. Keira Knightley, Natalie Portman. They're the same person. Can I do what Infrared could not and define fascism? That's actually what we're going to get into. We're going to get into it because I've been reading about it. Actually reading about what fascism is. And my personal interpretation thus far, and this is kind of worrying to read this kind of shit, okay? Some of the facets that help lead to a fascist uprising, lead to a fascist government coming to power, is the idea that the group feels more important than maintaining either individual or universal rights. Sigourney Weaver, yes. Daisy Ridley. We got some good examples here. Pink, never really noticed her jawline that much. I've got a few examples here of what leads to fascism, like the mobilizing passions of fascism, right? Emily Blunt, oh my god, yes. Here's the one that really gets me, though. Here's the one that really sticks out to me. And we'll come back to all of this. We'll go over this again afterwards. Because I want to watch this Friendly Geordies video, and then we'll come back to fascism shortly. But this one in particular. Believing that one's group is a victim. This justifies any behavior against the group's enemies. Right? So this is very pertinent to recent political situations. And honestly, there's a reason. It's not honestly. Okay. this is not actually about the trolls. This is not about the super straight thing, which is fashy in its own way. Specifically regarding that point, believing that one's group is a victim. However, this article, which we will come back to, is what I want to talk about, and how fascist this is. Just having a cursory glance through this article, it's our turn inside the Christian Right Conference plotting a political takeover. We'll get into this. Just browsing through a few basic parts of this article. I haven't even read the whole thing. And I'm like, oh my the fuck god, these people want gas chambers. And I know that's not the core concept of what fascism is, but it's a factor, okay? We'll come back to it. It's a scary thing overall, and my personal opinion is that Abrahamic religion is fascist by its very definition. But anyway, back to Friendly Geordies, with that jawline, which started us off on the jawline discussion. Hey Plotsky, how you doing?
It's the snitch. That's right. In Australia, snitches get stitches. Wait, sorry. Snitches get secret trials and NSI orders. That's what happens. Not as catchy, but before you celebrate having a country that's gangster as whoever tried to kill 6ix9ine or whatever the his name is, I personally don't think it's great that we have an attorney general held...
Okay. Chalk this up to perhaps the style of the two of them, but maybe I just think all heterosexual white men look the same. There's a similar. I'm not attacking Geordies here, but like they look. He looks like an older him, you know. Like I'm making a racist joke against cisgender white men, typically heterosexual. You know those people that are like pretty. That's one of his running jokes. Wouldn't shock me. Anyway, they really are victims.
Bent on ruining people's lives for reporting war crimes and corruption. Very Bill Maher point, but really? In this country that we live in, shouldn't the slogan be snitches get medals?
I have to give credit where credit is due to his voice acting. Geordie is very good at taking the mickey out of people.
Unless they tell on the brah boys, get him Russ! Take David McBride. He was an army lawyer stationed in Afghanistan who believed that Australia wasn't acting in the best interest
slowly turning
of
into
that
an old white
country,
politician.
i.e. executing innocent civilians, i.e. committing war crimes. So, bit on the line, warranted a report, tried to do it repeatedly into internal complaints in the army, and that went nowhere, so he complained with evidence to the ABC, so that went nowhere again. Well, not nowhere, it does pay me to say this, but Dan Oakes, you're alright, for now. The information was so damning that even the last Attorney General, George Brandis, aka Friar Tuck, thought, no, I'm not going to prosecute McBride for that.
I've noticed this about Geordies, right, is he tends to make a lot of references to The Simpsons, just in general, but typically the older versions of The Simpsons, and just a lot of references to older media in general. He's like a boomer, but he's like 27. Or however, he's like probably younger than 27, let's be honest. I don't know how old Geordies is. He's like a really young boomer with very lefty ideas. Am I the only one picking up on this? Probably not. Much as he have gripes with some of the things he said, you would say Friendly Geordies reports on things that no one else is talking about. I mean, that's his... Oh my god, he's my age. Okay. So now I feel terrible about my own age, because I think I look significantly older than this bloke. Avi Yemeni defended the actions of the soldiers who committed the war crimes. I'd have to look up who Avi Yemeni is. Yemeni is, obviously. Honestly, not obviously. Oh my god, Abigail, words. Here I am, a proponent of let's look up etymology, and I don't know the definitions of most of the words I use. Old Simpsons are the best Simpsons, that is true. You can't really do a whole lot of memeing and referencing of modern Simpsons episodes because they're shit. Anyway, neither here nor there. You were a prior mod for his Twitch channel, there you go.
formed a large chunk of the Brereton report into war crimes by Justice Brereton, who also recommended not to prosecute McBride. There's a reason no one thought McBride should be prosecuted, and it's because he leaked details including 10 illegal killings of unarmed men and children, one where the Australian Army murdered a man and his child while they were sleeping, and it took Perth's own Patrick Bateman Christian Porter to become Attorney General and think,
my one job is to uphold the law, so why don't I go after a veteran awarded combat services
I like how the
medal who
reflection
reported
doesn't have a face.
international and domestic crimes and try and imprison
other
him
mirror.
with laws made for terrorists? Yes, seems like a noble pursuit.
At that point, Christian's advisor Dracula said, "Christian, what are you doing? That's not evil enough."
You're right. Why don't I go after a witness and his lawyer trying to give evidence to the International Court of Justice, because that evidence incriminates my friends, and this time I'll break my own laws to do it.
Wonderful, Mr. Bateman. I mean Porter. Well, obviously the Dracula part isn't true, but the rest is! Christian actually broke the law to go after whistleblowers. And just to prove how much of an upside-down world we live in, McBride is the only Australian deployed to Afghanistan who's being prosecuted. Murderers are walking free, and a man who has 2 young daughters is facing life in prison from his own government for reporting murders which he is legally required to report. Christian Porter is also going after a man with the suit.
This is honestly not at all what I was thinking was going to be the direction of this, but honestly, that's exactly what Geordie's does, I've noticed. He'll somehow, it says magic. Honestly, this man has a magical ability to take what is currently relevant in the Australian news media and pick an entirely separate yet related topic. Christian Porter is, of course, very relevant right now for all of the sexual assault allegations of a woman who committed suicide last year, right? And he's not touching on that at all. He's found something completely different, which is miraculous. This is actual journalism. I know, it's remarkable. Can you imagine someone in Australian media reporting actual journalism? What the fuck? The tree drama. What was the tree drama? Remind me of that. Excelsior from T-San. First time catching a stream. How are you doing, Excelsior? How much of a flog is Porter? How is this allowed to happen? Believe women is never actually respected, especially in political spaces. You made a video criticizing him when you only had 9 subs, and he clipped it and put it on Twitter where he has more than 300,000 followers. You know who else does that, who he's friends with? Isaac Butterfield. Well, actually, no, it's the inverse. What happens with Isaac Butterfield is he takes responses to his tweets that have like 1 like on them from accounts that have no followers. You know, accounts criticizing Butterfield on Twitter, and then he throws them in his videos to his audience of 1.54 million YouTube subscribers, dragging people who have no following, you know.
Miss K for exposing Australia illegally spying on East Timor. Let me give you a background of how evil that is. It all centres around the 2004 negotiations between East Timor and Australia for the Timor Sea. East Timor is a very young country.
No. Isaac Butterfield is who I was talking about there. But Louis is bringing up a good point that it seems as though Geordie doesn't have a lot of... doesn't handle criticism well, is what we've seen on numerous occasions. And he's made a few spicy political takes that people don't like. But generally speaking, he is a leftist commentator and brings up a lot of political stuff that we tend to not notice anywhere near as much as, quite frankly, the distracting news. Like, this is perhaps a spicy take of my own, and it is very good that we are seeing Christian Porter's reputation being systemically decimated at the moment due to these sexual assault allegations. But while we're all distracted with the sexual assault news, there's other more serious news going on that we're completely being oblivious to, which is why Geordie seems like a pretty good creator in that regard, because he brings this stuff to light to his audience. But yes, I think one of the major one of the major issues as a content creator is you're putting yourself, especially in this example, that's his face, that's his persona, that's everything. He is the content. He's a lib, okay. You know, and when you put yourself as the front and center of the content, you make your face and your name the brand. you open yourself as a person, as an individual, even though he's got an editor. I think he's actually got a full team of people working with him on this. I don't know how big his team is, but it's at least like 2 other people, his editor and someone else, I think. And when you put yourself as when you opt to make yourself the brand, all of a sudden it's not like, you'll open yourself to criticism from huge swaths of the internet, primarily if we're talking about content creation in YouTube, Twitch, etc. But you open yourself up to criticism from so many different people, and it stands to reason that psychologically that would take a toll of its own, and it would tend to make people cocky, especially, if you have an audience like he does. He's got like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube here. You would tend to go the route of, well, I'm saying things and people are watching my content, but you're not. Your opinions are irrelevant because you don't have a fan base, kind of a thing. And I think that's a general rule that happens a lot, and you'll occasionally see somebody actually own up to it in the content creation space. They'll be like, "Oh, I've been an arrogant asshole," and I'll admit I do it too, even though I'm not like huge or anything. His skin is as thin as chip shop chicken. Pretty left-leaning, but he borders on left-leaning centrist. Looking at it, you've progressed further along to the left. As you progress further along to the left. And yes, I am goth mommy today, Sammy. How you doing, by the way? Yeah, the Liberal Party is right-wing. But I think liberal, I don't even know, like, politics is a spectrum, like autism. I'm on the autism spectrum and the political spectrum. It's great. I don't even know where I sit on it. The Liberal Party is like pretty like mid-right, I would say. Does that make sense? Like not right of center. Like if you're in the center and you're going far right, they're, center right. Yeah, that's sort of, yeah. The Liberal Party is the currently elected government. And the Labour Party is center-left, largely. There are more left-leaning parties than the Labour Party. But yeah, it becomes confusing when we say, oh, what about liberals? Do we mean the Liberal Party, i.e. the center-right party that's currently ruling, or do we mean politically liberal people? Which, honestly, the term liberal confuses the ever-living fuck out of me. I don't know what liberalism is. It's a whole mess. Oh, everything I have grown up knowing about politics seems to have been skewed quite a bit in recent years, and you got to like stay on top of the information. Anyway, the spectrum. Thank you, Kez. Shall we get back to this?
And it's a very poor country. It survived massacre after massacre by the Indonesians.
God, that is morbid. Mountains of skulls. Jesus Christ.
Just to give you an idea of how poor it was, it had children dying of stuff like choking on roundworms, something that could be treated for $1. Clearly, the country needed cash. And if
the cruelty is the point in that circumstance, for the record. Let's just clarify. If there are children dying of medical issues that could be cured for $1, the cruelty is the point.
thought maybe a good way of getting cash would be its own resources. Well, during the negotiations over Timor Sea, a sea in between Australia and East Timor, filled with natural resources, Liberal Party Foreign Minister Alexander Downer instructed ASIS, our spying agency, to bug Timorese officers.
Wait. Australia actually has a spy agency? You're telling me that one of the most incompetent countries in the West has a spy agency? Okay. We'll just go with that.
So, spy on East Timor in order to rip them off. And boy did they rip them off. It makes Crikey subscriptions look like a bargain.
What the fuck? What's Crikey? Oh my god. What is that shit? 199, what the fuck? For what?
With the added benefit of insider knowledge, and because East Timor was desperate for money, they managed to get a 50-50 split with Timor for the multi-billion-dollar Greater Sunrise gas field, a field that should be entirely East Timor's. They also managed to sneak
an online newspaper that took a dig at him. Well, I mean, he got a good jab in there. They're clearly good spies if no one knows they exist. Well, true. So what's this video you've linked me, Sammy?
stipulated that there would be no renegotiations for 50 years. So when all the resources are dried up, then you can get your fair share. Oh, no, wait. 25 years after that, you can get your fair share of nothing. Now, obviously, spying on a foreign
The
government.
thing about how shit ASIO is. Okay. James Dundee. Did you folks hear about the fact that they brought the actor for Mick Dundee? Forgot what his name was. But his name is actually like the name of this movie that they released recently. And isn't it Mick Dundee? I just want to look this up really quickly. I just want to remind you all that this movie exists for some reason. Crocodile Dundee. Paul Hogan, that's it, Paul Hogan. There was a movie that recently came out with him in it, which is basically the very excellent Mr. Dundee. It's just this boomer movie of bringing back Paul Hogan, and it's like it's a movie with lots of old people. It just looks. I saw the trailer for it. Looks genuinely awful. Anyway, moving on. It looks cringe. Anyway.
Is both a domestic and international crime. But
Racist,
the crime
sexist pile of shit. There
Porter
is that.
Prosecuting is in 2013. Witness K, an ex-ASIS agent that was in control of the operation, was seeking to give evidence in a hearing at the International Court of Justice surrounding the illegal act.
It absolutely is, by the way, Toastface. And thank you for complimenting the dress. May I suggest? It is totally on brand for 2021 John Cleese.
Of Australia. He was represented by Bernard Collaery. There you have it. That's the crime. A witness seeking to give evidence in a court and a lawyer representing this client is the crime. Australia doesn't get to be smug about liberal democracy anymore. We've confiscated the passport of someone who's done nothing wrong and are holding secret trials for them in contempt of the policy of open justice. I swear the only difference between...
Okay, but like if you are inferring that the people who are trying to suppress anyone's opinions that oppose your own are the crazies, you're thereby suggesting that those people are not mentally sound, and thus you're trying to suppress their opinions. Am I on the right track?
Between us and complete totalitarianism is that it's just not as many people do shit that really piss off the government here. And what really pisses them off is reporting their crimes. Because it's not just Alexander Downer or John Howard who are complicit in this one. Oh no. Josh Frydenberg and Greg Hunt.
I keep forgetting that John Howard exists for some reason. He was the Prime Minister when I was a child. And for some reason I just keep forgetting that he's a real person.
Were both foreign affairs advisors to Downer at the time, and Wentworth MP Dave Sharma was a legal advisor to Downer.
Let's go get some shawarma. Some shawarma.
Prosecuting
I don't have any commentary on that. I just wanted to make fun of his surname.
Australia's heroes to protect your mates, are you, Porter? Are you ready for the worst part about this? The Liberals that ordered the illegal spying on East Timor. They didn't do it to advance Australia's interests in some sort of bizarre Robin Hood illegal diplomacy. Robbing from the clinically malnourished to give to a country who I bet at least 70% of the population has industrial freezers in their garage packed with McCain smiles. And if you don't, you're a POV. No, they
That's funny because I've like literally been in those houses. Like what? Why is that so? This just proves how unoriginal we are as human beings. Partner voted for Howard in 1996. His family still rightfully give him shit. Just had a troll account try to add you on FB to be a sugar baby, and you're just responding to him with versions of why. With the troll that I was talking about yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before, or whatever. Who is now blocked on virtually every social media that they have contacted me on. I got to a point with just like teasing them every time they would respond on my Rogue Bitch Facebook page, like the Facebook page you can like, and I'll post stuff on it. He kept sending me his usual abuse, and I would just keep typing rent-free as a response. And then he'd just send another abusive message back, and I'd just go, rent-free. And I'd style it in different ways. R-E-N-T space F-R-E-E. They're just like, rent-free.
They did it purely for themselves, with little tricks like purposefully characterizing the helium within the sea as waste, and then giving it away for free to multinational corporations such as Woodside and ConocoPhillips. Yep, Woodside Petroleum, we're just international garbos, yeah. Oh, I see you dropped this gold, madam. Here, let me dispose of that for you. Now Australians buy that very helium that we stole from the East Timorese, then gave away as waste to Woodside. But don't worry, there's a very happy ending to this. Alexander Downer got a nice cushy consulting role at Woodside Petroleum. Criminals using your taxpayer-funded spy agencies to steal from third world countries and then give to multinational corporations. Also, after their careers in politics are over, they have a nice, comfy, highly paid job waiting for them. Then allowing their accomplices like Dave Sharma to be parachuted into government to make sure that the people who exposed the crimes are prosecuted. Let me just paint you further a picture of the character of people running this country. Dave Sharma is perhaps...
Del, there you go. And that you're a long-time fan of FJ but never knew about the podcast till last year. Does anyone... Do we really need podcasts? Do we like to... I did a meme. You could feel free to save those. Feel free to save all the clips of me memeing like crazy. I think you can download them. If not, download Twitch Leecher and you can download clips and VODs of other channels and whatever. Yeah, his podcasts are done live. I've seen a couple of clips of them. We need more podcasts. Does this count as a podcast? I'm just literally watching a video.
the slimiest, greediest con man in the government. Just last March, when it looked like airlines were going to go bust, he purchased shares in Qantas on a day that they were trading at $2.86. Why would you buy shares in what looks like one of the worst times to buy shares in airline history? Oh, it's because he had an insider little tip. Just so happens on the exact same day he bought shares for a bargain, his government then proceeded to bail them out, which contributed to the biggest one-day gain on the ASX since 1997. Now Qantas shares are hovering around $5. He seems to have also done the same thing when it comes to Australia's COVID vaccine. In June, Sharma bought shares in biotech company CSL when they were trading at $287 a piece. I wonder if he knew anything. Well, a few months later, would you look at that? His government announced a $1.7 billion agreement with CSL and AstraZeneca to produce a COVID vaccine. CSL shares have risen as high as $318 since. This is my point. Most normal people have seen this global pandemic and economic meltdown as a tragedy, something to get through, to survive, to help other people around if you can, just as most people would view the situation in East Timor or the Afghan war, but not the Liberal Party. They view great tragedies as great opportunities, a chance to enrich themselves. And if you stand in the way of those opportunities, like Witness K, like Bernard Collaery, like David McBride, you better be prepared to feel the full force of the taxpayer-funded mechanisms at their disposal. Australia is run by criminals who you pay to punish the heroes that try and stop their crimes. Anyway, there's a petition in the description in support of David McBride. And subscribe and like the video! What?
Anyway, that doesn't explain anything about the Christian Porter thing. Anyway. Okay, let's unpack this. Well, I'm not unpacking that. I didn't really have anything really to say on that one. Just thought we'd refresh our memory on what Friendly Geordies is. Anyway, so I want to read your message, Chef, because just like having a gander at it really quickly. Blah 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 blah. All right. Excuse me. All right. So you're for true equality. What do you think equality actually is? Let's ask that question first and foremost. What do you think equality is not really... Nick, welcome to the Rogue Room, by the way, Raptor Shadow. Equality is not about, being able to make jokes at a person's expense. Equality is about social strata, right? Howdy, Andy Bumble. How's it going? And, oh, there you are. That was you. Sorry. I saw another message earlier. It's like somebody said hello and I didn't say hello because we were watching the video. And that was you. How are you doing? Yeah, gender equality means being able to hit women. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. The reason that, I should be able to make jokes at X person's expense, if they make jokes at my expense, specifically comes from a stance of, let's go back to yesterday's events, right? Let's go back to yesterday's events when all over social media, a 4chan Nazi psyop led to the super straight tag trending. But the situation there is the super straight tag was quite frankly, a massive piss take on behalf of 4chan, a massive joke on behalf of 4chan. Parker, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with us. And the situation there is you've got the cis-hets. You've got cisgender, heterosexual people who are at this particular point of privilege. They're at this particular point of privilege. They're up here, right? And they decided it was in their best interest to make a huge trending joke of transgender people who are down here on the privilege totem pole. Especially right now, when there's a ton of discourse around stripping away the rights of transgender adults and teenagers. Especially teenagers. Well, it's kind of both, you know. So these very, very privileged people thought it was the best idea in the world to punch down as much as they possibly could. So that's not equality. If trans people are punching up at someone who's got a ton more privilege than them, and those people of privilege, who there's many more of them, punch down at trans people, all that's doing is spreading hatred to that minority group. And honestly, this kind of circles back around to what we were saying about Friendly Geordies not being able to take criticism properly. He's got a big audience, he's got a big platform. So if somebody smaller has valid criticism against him and criticizes him for it, and he takes their criticism to his massive audience and says, look at this joker, look at this idiot over here. What he's got there is the privilege of having a massively larger audience than, you know, Joe first name bunch of numbers, who said, listen, in your last video you said a few things that were quite unsavory, you know, bad take kind of stuff. And if he just takes that and goes, look at this moron, and puts him on blast, and then that person cops a ton of flack, that's effectively the same thing. Thank you for the hydration. Privilege, okay, by its very definition. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Angels. Leia, how you doing? Privilege, by its very definition, is a social factor that you have. Whether it be your race, whether it be your sex, whether it be your sexuality, whether it be your level of wealth, quite frankly, is actually one of the most important ones, like your class. This is my definition of privilege. This is my definition of privilege. As a person who studied privilege, this is my stance on it. Privilege is when there are people in society who have something that, quite frankly, and you can work and earn privilege, but privilege, generally speaking, is something that you just have that puts you on a level above other people, right? So in Western society, here in Australia, over in America, over in the UK, the most privileged position to be in would be at least middle to upper class, white, cisgender, heterosexual male. Very privileged. And if you don't have the wealth, you've still got quite a significant amount of privilege. No, I'm not going to do that. Katupi, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with us. Not Crobs. Go fuck yourself, cunt. Get out of my chat. Well, you too, Katupi. Go fuck yourself. Yes, you don't know what study means. I've literally studied privilege. I don't have a Cert 4 in privilege. But I study social sciences and have done for a while. And it's just now I'm doing a degree in it. Kez, thank you so kindly for being a fucking legend. And Kez, I don't know if I want to tell you this. What's that meme? Are you prepared to receive information that might make you uncomfortable? No. Oh, what jobs come with it? How about most of the good ones? How about most of the fucking good ones? That you have no idea how many jobs, how many good, well-paying jobs are built entirely on privileged people networking with each other in ways that people who are lower income, who have, who are not white, who are in lower socioeconomic circumstances. There are so many jobs that are effectively given to people. Why is that? Because we need activism? We don't need Activision. We don't need Activision. I'm not going to go and list all these jobs. You can look, you have Google, right? Is it Troll Night? I mean, we had trolls last night. They're probably following from the YouTube thing, honestly. Privilege example. I can literally tell a cop, I buy weed, I smoke weed, and I have weed in my house. You've yet to be challenged on it. You are white. Yes. We don't need Activision. Maybe we'll keep Blizzard, but I feel like Blizzard has been infested by the parasite that is... infested by the parasite that is Activision's leadership. So, old Blizzard is gone now. Wait. Are you talking about jobs that privileged people have access to, or jobs that sociology can get you into? I thought we were talking about jobs that privileged people get into. Because typically, you know, upper management level shit, political shit, all of that is reserved for privileged people. Reserved for people that are, you know, like generational wealth, generational careers, never went away. They just went corporate. You know? A lot of corporations will sell you on the lie that you can get in on the ground level and you can work your way up to the top. That's not how that works. It's the same kind of scam that pyramid schemes sell you. Louis Vuitton with an absolute banger of a point there. Isn't it funny how many politicians are white despite the racial diversity of the country? Haha, crazy. Yeah, Blizzard isn't the darling indie studio it was when WoW started. All the good devs left a long time ago. Blizzard now is just the corpse with Activision's hand shoved up its ass to puppet it. Kez, you're awesome, by the way. Can I say that? Journalism is, honestly, yes, Cake is not a made-up one. It is a big one that is gated to privileged people, which is, you know, why we have to keep a keen eye on journalism. We have to keep a keen eye on the thing that is supposed to provide us with the information that we regularly consume. Stream glue. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Oh, what I wanted to tell you is, for some reason, whenever my Facebook page sends me a notification about your activity, like it says like you liked something, or what did it say? It refers to you as him. I don't know why, but there are other people that follow the page that it refers to as them or her or whatever, but for some reason it refers to you as him. I don't know why. Maybe that's a thing you can do on your personal profile to fix that, but it's just kind of... Yeah, you have a penis now. Congratulations. You have now gained one privilege. You have now gained a privilege. By having a penis, you now have penis privilege. See you in a bit, Abby. You don't have the spoons for dickheads. I understand completely, Demacia. Don't worry. I totally get ya. Still laugh at the fact that Sydney Morning Herald set the hounds on FJ for stalking charges because they didn't like being mocked for their handling of water theft in New South Wales. Which made it hard to click and type. Yeah, I mean, it's got the nice little, if you scroll chat is supposed to pause so you can like deal with banning or timing someone out. If you've got the little icons, if you go to like mod view in chat, you can like, add icons to the side of people's names. Just be careful though, because you can accidentally ban or time out someone, and we did accidentally ban someone who I think has lost their sub. They might have been subscribed, I don't recall. And if you get banned in a channel, you lose your subscription, which is fucking dreadful. I mean, it's understandable. I still get the money, but now that person doesn't have a sub. In the future, you'll be a bathrobe seller. You'll sell many bathrobes and have a partner that is good but bad just for you. And you'll wear a sexy green bathrobe you sell and seduce you and convince you to stop abusing cocaine. You saw this in your crystals. Listen, I have a very stable, very healthy relationship with cocaine. Okay? Very healthy relationship with cocaine. I could stop any time I want. Alright? Don't think people are being persecuted by their skin color. Yes, they absolutely are. Yes, they are. Yes. Why do you think tokenism is a thing? Yeah, I just enjoy the way cocaine smells. Why do you think tokenism is still a thing? Why do you think there's so many, like, for example, like, just as an example, like, I like to use media as an example here. Why do you think there's still so many shows and movies and things like that where the cast is uniformly white and there happens to be, like, one black person? You know? Because the societal representation doesn't want you to notice and acknowledge that people of color exist. Same with trans people, same with gay people. It's why we get excited, honestly, when we see media that focuses on people that are not that systemic default. There you go, Fox. What about Tom McDonald? I'd need to look that person up. Princess Terror, trans rights. Fuck yes. Another Bad Bunny. Another Bad Bunny sub. We fucking stan. Fucking. Excuse me. When you click on a name, options show up above it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You got options now. I like how if I click on certain people's names, it says like 999 plus messages in the chat. Like, you folks have been here so long. You've got too many messages. Twitch can't keep track. You can whisper me the link if you want. Yeah. Is this Gordon guy the same one who commented about the gays gonna outnumber the straights? Hang on, let me have a look. Let me look this up. I don't recall. I don't think so. I didn't put the name in the screenshot, but I had this message on YouTube on my latest YouTube video. So let's just talk about this for a second. By the way, it totally throws me when you use the thanks botwit command. I think it's someone following the channel. Anyway, get this. This is a comment on my video in response. Blodsky. There you go, mate. Cat is off, having a nap. This is a video. This is a comment in response to my video about the super straight bullshit, which got massively brigaded, by the way. So, straight phobia exists. Gays were looked down on before, but now after years of movement, they became accepted as people. What a fucking shock that is. How dare we accept the gays? Becoming attracted to the same gender or people who change gender has become too normalized to the point where being the same gender as you are born with has instantly become a negative influence. Literally nobody has said that. Oh my god, Kez, thank you for the gift sub to Detroit, who was the person I was trying to avoid mentioning got their sub taken away from them. I feel really guilty about that. Thank you, Kez. Thank you so kindly. You lovely person, you. Anyway. People were insecure about being gay in a world of straight people. Why do I not just like talk like this all the time? Why do I not talk with this like softer, more elevated pitch all the time? This is actually a nice way to speak. I'm just gonna keep doing this. But there are millions of people like them. In 5 years' time, they could become more gay people. That will become more insecure about being straight. They will come out of straight and find a way to accept themselves. Rinse and repeat. Here's the problem with this argument. ASMR channel. Here's the problem with this particular statement that this person made, which I have titled Brain Death Exhibit A. Is that like, the reason we are seeing more gay people, more queer people in general coming forward is because those people already existed, always were there in the background, you know, but they were always taught by society that they were not allowed to exist. You know, they were always instructed by society to keep their mouth shut, to stay in the closet, and to live according to cis-hetero norms. And now this person is freaking out, saying that because people are being more accepted, and more people are coming out of the closet, and more people are being consciously aware of their sexuality or their gender, that it's just going to overtake heterosexuality and cisgender norms. I just thought I'd bring that up because it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, the gays are not going to overtake the straights. But what is this video you sent me, Streamglue? Fake woke. I think I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen this. I'll have to give it a look later. I don't want to watch any like any music video stuff. Reacting to normal YouTube videos is fine. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Valens. How you doing? They're basically saying be a bigot. Yeah, they are. They're absolutely basically saying be a bigot. Anyway. Don't think people are being persecuted because of their skin color by and large. I think that's just a crutch. Hang on, what was it? Oh, you were copying Dell's message. Yes. It's not a crutch. It's not a crutch. The reason it's not a crutch is because do we need to go into gerrymandering? Do we need to go into redlining? Do we need to go into institutional poverty? Do we need to go into the fact that in the first world, in a post-scarcity society, which yes is the direct result of the movement of capitalism, that there are still people who are routinely, racially living in slums and ghettos. You know, there's still massive amounts of black people in America who are living in environments not only where they don't get any financial support, you know, to improve their circumstances, and they don't get, like, meanwhile, you know, other areas routinely do. other areas that, shockingly, don't have black people living in them. And you'll notice that there are certain... Do these problems apply to whites as well? Okay, what is the actual ethnicity of those white people then? Factor that into consideration. Move the goalpost so far away, still running back to the conversation. But yes, quite frankly, we have that same situation here in Australia. There are people living in towns, suburbs, ghettos, and all of these kinds of things, where the predominant population is of a particular ethnicity. And in that area, you'll notice a ton of economic instability. Thank you, Jay. I've been thinking over the last few days, there's so many LGBT religious people being bullied into conversion therapy or being bullied into the closet. You want to rescue them, but you're feeling bad because you know you can't help them and you just have to stand back and know they're suffering in there. I know. It's fucking dreadful. The reason white people are not affected by systemic racism, as Louis Vuitton has gracefully elucidated, is that white people are seen... I'd need to do like an actual analysis of the actual population statistics in, like, say, Australia and America and England and all that. Because it's not necessarily the percentage. Am I a Satanist? Fuck it, why not? Yeah, sure. Call me a Satanist if you want. I'm a Satanist. I like the feel of Saturn. This is not Saturn, this is just a material, but I like the feel of Saturn. What was I saying? I was saying something and I've forgotten what it was. Do I understand? I know... Like, let's just veer off topic for a second, because we do that anyway. I know one of the tenets of LaVeyan Satanism, for example, which is the only real Satanism I've ever given any credence to. LaVeyan Satanism is basically hedonism. It's basically just live the life. It's almost Randian. If you read into it that way, it focuses specifically on the I'm trying to think here. Focuses specifically on the elevation of the enjoyment of the self. You know, it focuses on, if I've read it correctly, it's been a while. It focuses on casting aside typical conventions that are designed to depress and make you miserable, basically. It's a hedonistic religion, but it's not even actually a religion. Like, it's almost a piss take of the idea of Satanism that Christianity fears so dreadfully. Like, the idea that Christian religions often push is that if you live a life that is entirely hedonistic, entirely indulgent, then you will go to hell. And LaVeyan Satanism teaches the point, it's like, well, why not just fucking live by those laws? If we're gonna, and like, you know, Christian religion, especially Christian religion. Detroit, have a fucking good one. Thank you so kindly for being here, and enjoy that sub, enjoy those emotes yet again. As I was gonna say, hedonism dressed up with Abrahamic imagery to seem more interesting and edgy. Pretty much, Raptor, honestly. The concept is, it's honestly the same as... an example would be like the punk movement in the 80s, where they were... I think, what was it? Why were the punks wearing the swastika? We're going to talk about that. There was a reason that punks used to wear the swastikas. I'm just trying to get oh, don't give me this is like one of those baking articles or like recipe articles that just go into like, here's my personal experience with this bullshit for 3 paragraphs before we start talking about things. But they were wearing the Nazi swastika as an armband to be edgy and piss people off, right? And that's what LaVeyan Satanism is basically doing. If you identify yourself as a LaVeyan Satanist, the idea there is that you're being as satanic as you possibly can to piss off fundamentalist Christians, right? By doing everything they don't want you to, because if you look into the laws of the Bible and what is classed as sin, what's going to send us to hell if we believe in the Abrahamic doctrines, you can't do fucking anything, right? So the idea of LaVeyan Satanism is, you know, fuck it, who cares? Just do whatever you want. Live your life, live your best life, live your truth. And my truth, my friends, my truth is... I bought a unicorn. I bought this unicorn and I haven't taken its price tag off. I bought a unicorn. The juxtaposition. For the record, may we clarify for a moment. Unicorn. You can give me $5 for it, I'll just go buy another one. I took a bit of fluff out of it. Oops. Trying to get the rest of that little tag out. But just so we are clear, so we are 100% clear. Unicorn. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Look at that shot there. That just like landed perfectly on the bed. It's not sitting up straight, but like just whoosh. Yes, you're absolutely right there, Riot Girl. There were always Nazi punks. But there were a lot of Nazis who... not Nazis. There were a lot of punks who wore the swastika to piss people off because it was and still is seen. And honestly, this is probably why we see so many fascist movements happening in places like 4chan, is they still see fascist imagery, Nazi imagery, as a good way to piss people off, as a good way to buck anyone who dares to perhaps lean in a progressive direction like myself. May I ask why your username is Trump Best President All Time? And yes, Nazi punks, fuck off. Nazis co-opted punk. Yeah, punk's pretty far left-leaning, yes. And as Miserable said, Nazi punks, fuck off. Always. Who's scared to get into fights? Why would I be scared? Who would be scared to get into fights? I don't want violence. I'm a very staunch pacifist. I do not like violence. As someone who plays violent video games, like my favorite video game series is Dark Souls, I like violence in my video games. Anyway, nice outfit, thank you. We're doing the whole... I mean, again, I came back to... This circles back around to what we were saying before. I fully believe, particularly, Abrahamic doctrine is very fascist in its design, in its tenets, and by eschewing a satanic imagery, particularly goth, but then we throw the pentagrams in there to really just make the most obvious statement I possibly could. Like, hi, fuck your religion. You were into Aleister Crowley and Gerald Gardner and Vivian Crowley et al. For a while. All of 4chan is exactly the same kind of thing that happened with punk. It started as edgy a reference, then it got co-opted because the use of the imagery make it an inherently safe space for actual Nazis to congregate, yes. I actually am going to be installing Quake Live soon. I have to buy it. I have to buy Quake Live. Because I told Hyperstrike we were going to play Quake Live soon. So I'm going to grab that very soon. You might be able to jump in with us. Yeah, when we get onto that good Quake shit. Gonna get into Quake, mate. It's just Quake 3 but better, basically. Got more maps, it's got modded content. Looks sick. Yes, it was Hyperstrike that I think I mentioned Crash from Quake on Twitter, and I think his response was let's play Quake, and then I'm just like, let's play Quake. I'm gonna suck at it, mind you. I suck at it. Alistair had the last rites before he died. I don't know what you folks are talking about anymore. I don't even know what's going on. Cheeky bit of Quake, mate. Rest in piss, car. You have standards that are extremely low standards. That's like me, honestly. Yeah, I enjoyed a fair bit of Quake 3 Arena, honestly. I loved it. It was good shit. I'm on the East Coast. Did Quake 3 Arena have a campaign? I keep saying people said there was a campaign, but honestly, all I recall about Quake 3 Arena's campaign was that it was just a bunch of bot matches in the regular multiplayer maps. I do not recall there being an actual, like Quake 1 and 2 and Quake 4, I don't recall there being a storied campaign. I just remember that there was the option to play a bunch of bot matches in sequence, and that was the single player. Like, it wasn't really a single player game. Yeah, multiplayer, I'm sure it was multiplayer only. I distinctly do not recall a single player component to Quake 3. You were tuning your car with the stream in the background before you left, and in your tilt, you put a couple data points in wrong and ran the tune. And that fucked it? Yes, I did mean the Crash character from Quake 3 because we were talking about... Twitter was recently talking about... you know what? That's a good idea for an emote there. Not an emote, a command there, Streamglue. I'm going to add that really quickly so you can have that one. Provided that Botwick actually has a sub at the moment. Might have to try to keep my bot subbed. What was I saying? Let me just copy this for a sec. There we go, look at this. Check this out. Anyway. Yeah, so we were talking about Crash. We were talking about Crash in Quake 3 Arena. And the discourse recently was that there was one of the developers of of Doom Eternal saying they might consider a female Doomslayer at some point in the series, and everyone was like, she already exists, she's called Crash, she was in Quake 3. So the discussion came up of like, are we gonna get a Crash game? Are we gonna get the next Doom game featuring Crash? Maybe like a co-op campaign? That'd be pretty cool. Good to catch you here too, Excelsior. Thank you so kindly for swinging by. You found my social posts intriguing. I try my best with those. I really do. I put in as much effort as possible. How you doing, Riley? Need to have a shower and a sleep, taking Shady for a regularly scheduled vet checkup tomorrow. Sounds good, Kez. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for being here. Let me think. Supposed to be 4.0 PSI. Forgot the decimal point. Oh, goodness. Your Pistons have just joined the SpaceX program. Fuck. How does someone from the Doom team not know about Crash? That's a good question. I did. Oh, you bought the Pusheen backpack. I thought you said I bought it. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't buy the Pusheen backpack. I wish I did. I'm glad you did, though. Spicy Wiener, welcome to the Rope Room. What's up, Get Wrecked? How's it going? Okay, so... We've dipped into a whole bunch of different topics around fashy bullshit. And, you like the background? Have your chroma key on to hide the mess behind you. Yeah, I specifically went out of my way to tidy up my room and make this look as good of a backdrop as I possibly could. Because my previous setup was abysmal and I was really not liking the chroma key all the time to cover it up. So now I've got this and I quite like it. I'm cute, thank you. The headband is quite nice. I like this headband. I've got a white headband that's exactly like this. Let me just take this off for a sec. If you look closely, it's got, yeah, you can see that very clearly. It's got like a doily kind of a pattern on it or whatever it is. It's like textured. And I've got another one of these that's exactly, or it's almost the same. Almost the same, but it's white. So I've got a white one and a black one. And a ton of other ones over there if you... I've got entirely too many headbands. Entirely too many. And fairy lights. And a mess over in my nook over here. Don't look at my nook. It's a disaster. You're not supposed to see that. In fact, the original game artwork shows 2 green armored soldiers. There you go. Very decent community here. I'm glad you think so, Joey. You were looking at the board games. Which board games? Ooh, okay, that's a good poll. That's a mental health check-in. Here we go. Here's a mental health check-in for everybody. Thank you for that, Unicorn. Oh, I can't put fucked in there. I'm gonna have to change it to stuffed. Actually. There we go. There's a poll for you. Mental health check. Emotionally okay? Emotionally stuffed? Emotional okay? Well, you know, whatever. Who cares? You know what my vote is going to be, and it's because I have that fucking blanket. There's a reason I bought that thing. It's almost time to do shit all Sunday. I basically did that today, but I made a video regardless. I made a video today, which was a bad idea. Led to a really terrible response, but... Honestly, yeah, stuffed and exhausted are kind of the same thing, aren't they? Oh, well. I think... No, it was supposed to be fucked. Emotionally fucked. But we couldn't fit fucked in there. It's not allowed, so stuffed, which is basically exhausted. So look at emotionally stuffed as like my emotions are fucked. I should have thought of a better synonym. Quake 3, the only FPS you come out of playing with a degree in applied mathematics. My pronouns, if you type !rogue in chat, you'll get a nice little summary of me. Nice little summary of who I am as a person. Screwed up, screwed would have worked? Yeah, screwed up. Emotionally, just wrong. I messed that up, sorry. I'm 8 hours ahead of you. Yeah, it's 10:15 PM where I am. 10:15 in the evening. I wanted to talk about this Christian right conference planning a political takeover, which was Rogue, there you go. Thank you, Sky Riot. Gives you my pronouns. Streamer, YouTuber, fitness fanatic. Can we get some flex in chat? I work out. Look at the guns. Ow, my shoulder hurts still. I hurt my shoulder. Like, more like my lat. Oh, fuck. But like, look at the flex. Can we get the flex? It doesn't, it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. Lost a lot of strength. But at least I've got sort of abs. Sort of, kinda, maybe. Not really. No one commits crime from boredom, so if you're driven to crime by necessity, that's absolutely right, Louis. If we talk about the idea of the idea of institutional it's not necessarily institutional racism, but it also kind of is, because there are obviously people who are white who are in low income situations. But yes, crime is a result of institutional oppression, yes, especially when you factor in that the justice system inherently focuses on punishment over rehabilitation, right? So if somebody holds up a liquor store, if somebody is dealing drugs, if somebody is... Hell, if someone gets into a fight in some circumstances and ends up going to prison, they get sent to prison as a punishment. And there's no justice there. You know, there's no actual justice being served. You know, if you send a violent offender to a prison and you don't give them the opportunity to rehabilitate, you don't give them an opportunity to turn their life around and realize what they did was wrong and sort out whatever issues led to them committing that crime in the first place. Rather than, you know, seeing the potential for a better outcome in whatever scenario led them to commit that crime. The crime is committed largely, especially in lower income environments. The crime is committed out of necessity. It's committed out of... I mean, don't get me wrong, there are definitely, for example, crime families where it's more like a mafia situation. That's not quite what we're talking about. We're talking about like a petty crime committed by people who do not have the social mobility to move out of the environment that keeps them oppressed by society. -4 right now, Jesus. Yeah, justice system. I mean, there are definitely crimes committed out of boredom, most certainly, yes. You know, vandalism. You know, no one's going and committing vandalism because they need the money, right?
The room appreciates your recommendation.
Miserabella, thank you for the host. Like, no one's committing crime. No one's going and spray painting someone's fence or whatever for the money of it. Many people tag for I mean, that's true as well. You know, if you're a part of a gang, if you're a part of a criminal group, you know. But there are a lot of people who will steal, for example, will steal food, will steal money, will steal a car to dismantle and sell the parts for money. Did we see the poll results? I think everyone's emotionally exhausted. Let's do it again. Can we do it again? Hold on. Let's fix it up this time. Let's just do... There we go. 5 options. Mental health, check. Take 2. Are you great? Are you okay? Are you mediocre? Are you screwed? Or are you exhausted? Screwed and exhausted are 2 different things. Screwed would be like, are you experiencing meltdowns? Are you experiencing extreme stress? Exhausted could just be like me in perpetuity. You know, I just can't be fucked expressing emotion at this point. Most of the time. Screwed sounded fun. Some crimes are committed for sad reasons, like this story from the USA. North Carolina man allegedly robs bank of $1 to get health care. Oh my god. And like we see stories like this. A 59-year-old man has been jailed in Gastonia, North Carolina on charges of larceny after allegedly robbing an RBC bank for $1 so he could get health care in prison. And this is exactly what we're talking about. There are people who commit crimes, especially in the United States, quite frankly, because their living circumstances don't allow them basic human necessities. You know? In the case of people, you know, stealing groceries, you know, how often have you seen the story of someone going into a gas station to steal some, you know, bread? You don't mind the choker? It's quite nice, isn't it? This is the only choker I own. Oh, no, I've got some really cheap basic ones. But they don't count. They're rubbish. You know, you wear them once and you got to throw them out because they break. But I like this one. It's quite nice. It's quite sturdy. The USA is a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. You're not wrong, Festa. You're not wrong. But yeah, there is definitely a situation in America, in particular, where there are a lot of people who will, yeah, quite literally steal bread, steal money, steal whatever else. And one of the major issues is like these people are not just stealing, and yeah, people stealing out of necessity is always anything. And then there's also drug dealing, drug distribution. There are people who get into that kind of thing, again, out of desperation. It's like, I've got to take care of my family, but there's no jobs. And like the jobs that are on offer, the jobs that are available, if I want to work legit, then you have to come back around to that, what's the situation? The minimum wage thing. There's a lot of conversation right now around minimum wage in the US, and there's a lot of people who are trying to do the legit thing as much as possible. But what happens is you've got low-income people who take up 2 or 3 almost full-time jobs to barely cover cost of living. And by the way, cost of living is a disgusting concept. Put those 3 words together. Cost of living. You don't need to unpack that. You don't need to unpack what cost of living means and how that's an unfair concept. Welcome to the Rogue Room. I hate weebs and anime. Why real wages are the right metric. Quite frankly, the minimum wage in the US right now should be $25 an hour. The federal minimum wage should be $25 an hour. Talking about how messed up the USA, prisons and so on, did you hear about the Capitol insurrectionist who posed for pics on Nancy Pelosi's desk is now stewing in jail? It's not fair. Is that a piss take art? Did you find a satire article, NB? Do you have a link to that? Or is it a real article somebody wrote? Yes, minimum wage by itself has no meaning if it cannot fulfill the basic necessities of a human. That is, honestly, that is a genuine concern that they'll raise the cost of living to match the minimum wage, yes. Because America is a staunchly capitalist country, and in that case you would just have, in a very strictly capitalist country like the United States of America, most certainly if you start giving more people in lower income environments more money, then the corporations are just going to raise their prices. And that's how you get inflation. I think it was Zimbabwe that had a real problem with inflation. They were just like, we need to give more people more money. And then the companies operating in Zimbabwe just raised their prices, and then they would give the people more money, and then they would just raise their prices. And eventually you had billionaires who were living on the streets. You know, it was ridiculous. I think it was Zimbabwe. I might be wrong there. And that's kind of the problem. Federal regulations on price raising definitely needs to be a thing. Absolutely. Got to disagree on the minimum wage. It's for minimum skill set. It's the value the person brings to a business. The original intention of minimum wage was to provide people with enough money that they could live independently. So the fact that we now have a society where people working minimum wage jobs cannot support themselves and a family on, 40 hours a week at $7.25 an hour. Yeah, there's no such thing as unskilled jobs. That's a farce. That's a way to demean those particular low income jobs. There you go, Fox. Heard about this, Abby, during COVID-19 in the US. There was a proposal to offer some monetary security to the frontline workers, and the Republican argument was, if people get more money than what they're earning now, they'll lose the incentive to work, which is exactly the same argument they make about the stimulus packages. If they start sending out $1,400 checks, which will go out once, and it should be $2,000 checks on a monthly basis, they'll say shit like, oh, if we give people money, they'll lose the incentive to work. It's like, for a lot of people, $1,400 would be life-saving, and they're only going to get one of those, Yes, we look at everything through the lens of having malintent because I'm an aspiring sociologist. That's what we do, because there's a lot of malice in the world. I'm sorry I can't be happy-go-lucky about this absolute shit-hell nightmare we live in. This world is designed around having an underclass. Billy, welcome to the Road Group. Yeah, welcome to Conflict Theory. But it's not low skill though, that's the thing. There's like these jobs that people are working, burger flippers, for example, or factory workers packing boxes or whatever. These are not low skill jobs. There is a skill involved in them. You love my point of view? Thank you, Billy. This should make me happy. What is it? What have you sent me? Backflip shit. Hang on. Oh my god, like what? Why does it look so heavily filtered? What is going on with this? Oh my god. Fascism! Anyway. Why the old caste system never died. Yeah, yikes. Never died. Is it caste system? Like C-A-S-T-E. C-A-S-T-E. I said C-A-S-T-E-E. It's C-A-S-T-E. The old caste system never died. They just changed what it was called. Yes, exactly. Like, that's what we've got at the moment. Oh, I should really have somebody check videos for me. Music playing? Yes, it is, but this part of the song is completely blah. Just get along and accept our oppression, because otherwise you're being impolite. That's actually legitimately a viewpoint some people have. What was the... Oh, dude, there was something specifically regarding that recently. Somebody in government, in Congress, in something in the United States was saying words to that effect. Not necessarily about the impoliteness, but poor people should accept their place in society. Fuck. There was a Republican who said something very, very similar to this, and I'm just like, who was it? Surely somebody knows exactly what I'm talking about. It happened in the last week or so. Howdy, McDonald's. How you doing? People who claim that burger flipping is unskilled labor haven't experienced the pace that most fast food workers have to work at during a lunch rush. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, we're having that problem in Australia. They raised the government payouts for the unemployed because of COVID, and it got to the point it rivaled the minimum wage in low-paying jobs, so employers in their workplaces began struggling to find employees. Well, then those workplaces need to provide a better incentive for people to come to work. And that's really what it should be about, right? There should be a basic standard of living, right? There should be a basic standard of living to guarantee that people can have a roof over their head, can have food, can have water, can have power. Honestly, they should also have internet access factored into that. Like, everyone should have that basic standard of living, and then have the capacity to have like some level of social mobility to get into a job and trend upwards. and actually start making a solid living. But there seems to be only a few particular people who get that opportunity. Look through the world through rose-colored glasses. Should is a moral. We should operate on morals, though. We should work on making society a better place for the people who fucking live in it. I don't think that's a hot take. Society should take care of the fuckers who live in it. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get cancelled for this one. I'm gonna get cancelled for this one, but if there is a person living in your cities and your suburbs and they have to sleep on the sidewalk at night in Texas while a chronic snowstorm blows over and freezes them to death, that should not happen. The fear of being homeless and having nothing is what the government thrives on, abso-fucking-lutely. And that should not be a fear that anyone has. That should not be a fear that anyone has to live with. I dread it every single day. Honestly, I'm not in a financially stable position right now. And I would like to be. But quite frankly, the government should take care of its people. Present a topic. Should we be prepared to lead the discussion, or might a topic we need advice about be appropriate? I'm not sure what you mean, Yelvel, honestly. But I'll be back in a minute. We're going to take a quick pee break. I need to get Moscato, which is probably not a good idea, but I'm feeling alcohol again, so we'll do that. I'll be back shortly. The perk where we can present a topic. Oh, hang on. Should we be prepared to lead the discussion? Honestly, if you're going to present a topic, I would prefer someone to bring a source that we can actually look at. A video or a article or something to that effect, quite frankly. If that helps. Anyway, I'm going to go get some Moscato. I'm going to go get a drink and take a leak. I'm going to go get a drink and take a leak. 5 minutes. I've taken my ring off. Actually, I've got to take my gloves off too because I'm going to have to wash my hands. So I might as well leave this all here. I'll be back in a minute, folks. I got to do my nails soon. And I've still got to do that Get Ready With Me stream. Maybe we should do a whole nails and makeup stream soon. I don't know. We'll sort that out. Bathroom break call for those that need it. Take a break. Sort yourselves out. Take a leak. Whatever. You're going to bounce, Raptor. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for being here. I appreciate you ever so much. You're delightful. Ta-ta. And I'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Catch you later, Festa. Have a good one. Brent, I am back. Brent, how's it going? How's it hanging? What have I missed? I have to show you something. Just so we're clear. I have to show you something. It is very, very important. Alright, I cannot continue the stream without showing you this. Quite frankly, you need to see this. More than anything else. This was Smudge laying down on my kids' onesies that are sitting on the back of my lounge. Just thought, you know, it's very important that you see this. Very, very important. Look at the way he's covering his face. He's keeping them warm. And getting them all covered in fur. Look at his little toe beans. Can we get some cats in chat? There's also another one. Where my shadow is covering most of him. He always lays on my laundry when it's just freshly out of the... or freshly back in from being on the line or whatever. Which just gets it coated in... what's it called? Gets it coated in kitty hairs. Hello, Jordan. How's it hanging? How you been? How's your day been? We were talking fashion. Well, we didn't really get into the fascism, honestly. We've been talking political structures, and we've been talking social inequality and things like that. Just coming back from break for anyone who's just tuning in. We were talking about the ideas behind why... Well, we could talk fashion, honestly. While I was taking a whiz, I was very strongly considering, because, you know, I'm all gothed to hell right now. To hell and back, which is a good thing. And there's a website that I absolutely adore called Berserk. And it's just goth fashion for days. And quite frankly, I need to get something off this site. I need to get something off this website if we're going to talk fashion. I legitimately want to just start spending money on gothic apparel. We can discuss alt fashion if you want. Because it's just gorgeous. Dracula clothing is the goods it is. Look at this. What is this coat she's wearing? Hang on, let me bring this up. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, the music is still turned way up. Hang on. Let me turn that down a tad. This thing that's... Oh my god. That coat. As much as I loathe our friend Joanne, I'm loving the witchy look lately. And I adore this. I need it. Look at that. Oh my god. I want it. I don't know if Berserk is an Australian retailer, yeah. I need to add this to my wish list. Thank you very much. That's an afterpay that I'm going to end up spending money on that I can't spend money on. Anyway. Now a certain class of money with plenty of money to spare. May we just iterate for a moment that billionaires shouldn't exist. Stop simping for Elon Musk. Anyway. If folks knew how much of their subs and bits went to gothic bodysuits. I'm very, very keen on my next payout. Because I know it's gonna be, quite frankly, and I'm very thankful to each and every one of you for making this happen. It's definitely gonna be a record payout for me. It's gonna be up there. I've had a few decent ones. And I'm definitely gonna buy this fucking coat with that money. Anyway. You folks have been so good to me this past couple of months, honestly. Ooh, these are nice. Look at this. Fuck fascism. Fuck fascism. Let's talk fashion. If I wanted you to fund a new wardrobe, I quite frankly would like someone to fund a new wardrobe. Oh, these are Demonia. Dude, I didn't realize these are Demonia. I love Demonia. I used to check out their stuff all the time. They have such good shoes, man. Demonia's fucking sick. Demonia, Are they comfortable? I don't know. I've tried on a few Demonia boots. The platforms are a bit chunky, bit weird to walk in. But maybe it's just a thing you need to get used to. I really want to get some chunky soled. I'm 5'11". I'm 178 centimeters tall. I don't need to be taller, mind you. But, you know, Demonia is good shit. Anyway. Did I see Rachel Levine getting confirmed as Assistant Secretary of Health, and the vile misconceptions of transgender people the Republicans were hurling at her? Yes, Crystal Faye, I did. That was incredibly disturbing to see that particular that one particular senator or whatever it was. Let me have a look. Let's just go to Rachel Levine news. Where was it? There was a particular news article. Faces historic confirmation hearing. Does anyone remember what the fuck its name was? I did watch the Good Tran on YouTube. What's her? You know the girl who's like leftist Blair White? I've forgotten her name now. What's her name? What have I watched on YouTube today? That'll help me. But she did a response to this. What is her name? I've forgotten her name. Blair Black. Isn't that one of Blair White's alternate social media accounts? What's her fucking name? I've forgotten. Watch history. That'll tell me. Not what is fascism. I watched my own video. Samantha Lux. Samantha Lux is fucking great. You need to watch her. If you want to watch someone who's, I mean, I don't know why you would ever want to watch someone who's even vaguely like Blair White. But that's the comparison I've heard made, is like Samantha Lux as if Blair White wasn't a cunt, basically. You know, she's that very pretty, prissy, kind of, a little bit bougie, trans girl. Very, very, what's it called? I don't know how you would explain it. You know. She's not like Blair White, but she does kind of similar content that primarily focuses on like trendy, high femme. That's a good way to put it. Very, very femme kind of person who focuses on trans-related issues. Except the issue that Blair White has is, of course, she's explicitly transphobic, which is a very, very self-loathing person, that one. Yeah, Samantha's very sweet. I love her content. She's fantastic. If you want that kind of thing. Given 2 warnings. Samantha is fucking based. What were we saying? We were saying something else. I've lost my train of thought. ContraPoints. Somebody tried to insult me by saying, "Oh look, another ContraPoints cosplayer or whatever," and I'm just like, ContraPoints is based as fuck. Joe Manchin's voting against a trans rights bill to be far more galling than any amount of GOP transphobia. At any rate, what's the guy that was questioning Rachel Levine during her swearing in? I don't know what his name. I can't think of what his name is. It's not Ted Cruz. But that particular politician, let's just forget his name. It's probably not important. Maybe we should forget what his name is. He was questioning Rachel Levine on female genital mutilation. Right? Female genital mutilation. Or just genital mutilation in general. And asking a lot of prodding questions, a lot of posing, prodding questions about transgender issues that were grossly uninformed, which was a stance he was obviously taking on purpose. And Dr. Levine was absolutely shutting him down by saying, transgender medicine is a very convoluted medical field with a lot of, science backing it and, etc., etc. She just kept responding to him with that because it was clear he was just trying to have a transphobic dig. And she was just absolutely shutting him down at every opportunity. Queen shit. Can we get some Dr. Rachel Levine is a fucking queen in chat? God forbid there could be more than one trans person on the internet without comparing them to each other. Quite frankly, yes. That's a very good point. I feel bad for the YouTuber dating Blair White. He'd get mentally abused so much. You think so? Howdy, Cuckles. How you doing? Get off my way. I know, you do tend to do the, I have seen you in quite a few very, very lovely black outfits, and I'm just totally stealing your look right now. Honestly, I feel like going either a full bore on this complete goth thing, which is very expensive, naturally, or going kind of the complete inverse and specifically focusing on more of a sunflowery lipstick lesbian look. But at the same time, I'm loving my wardrobe these days. How varied it is. How much I can just like pick and choose all these different looks. Every day can be a different experience. It's delightfully freeing. Full moth. Hang on. I feel like... No, not an actual moth. There has to be... Come on, there has to be. Someone has to have made a jacket or a robe or something that looks like big moth's wings. Right? I can't find anything. Just a cursory Google. And I'm coming up blank. But I am finding some cute little moth-related things on Etsy. Like, I wouldn't mind this thing. That's cute. That's very cute. Why are we shopping? Why am I shopping? Do I need to do a shopping stream? It's creepy. I like creepy. I literally have a spider as a pet. He is alive, right? Of course I love creepy. Moths taste great in stew. Lumi isn't a trans woman, they're NB, but still very good for social commentary. I'll give them a look. Lumiru, Exiliax, Lexi. I still don't know how to pronounce her. I feel like she did that on purpose. Lexi seems lovely. Pastel Goth Sin. Yes, oh my god. I love Pastel Goth. Would you call Pinippy Pastel Goth? I'd say you could. Maybe not. But she's got a very, very hyper colorful style. But this is what Pastel Goth looks like. It is not the worst. It is not the worst. That is a fascist take. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyway. I like Pastel Goth. It's fake goth. I mean, yeah, but like what is real goth at the end of the day? Okay, Nika, you're not very enlightened about this. But as you see, you don't really see a woman as a trans woman, you see all as a person. If you identify, not you as a general, you as a man or female or none, see, is that just you? Is that okay? I think that's a very tricky discussion to have. Or to say trans women want to be described seen as trans women, but also... Because it also can describe blah blah. Can describe. You're scrolling me. Can describe the struggles they've been through. I can't answer for everyone, yeah, but I just and yes, Draco, fuck work. I agree. Personally, like I just see myself as a woman, you know, but the trans identifier is tacked on there because, quite frankly, I'm an open trans woman. I'm very proud of the fact because I quite frankly want to be seen as someone that other trans people or questioning people can come to and ask me questions about this kind of thing and perhaps open up their perception of the world. And, you know, realize there are people like them out there that might be questioning their gender identity. This honestly relates back to the Wimixon thing the other day. You know, the labels we give ourselves in society are important to our sense of belonging, our sense of identity. So if we have women as an existing name for us, and then there's another label like Wimixon, which is like, this is the inclusive version of women. All that's being said there is you're not included in women, right? And I think, yeah, the idea of is someone a woman, is someone a man, dependent on, because, you know, man, woman, those are just gender roles, right? And we can assign our gender roles by ourselves. We don't need... Because again, you know, that gender role is assigned to us at birth. We didn't choose it. I do believe in the idea of like being label free and all of that kind of thing. Unless it's something like goth, which is a little bit more of just a, you know, this is how I present myself. At least tonight, you know, I'm not turbo goth 24/7 kind of thing. which would be sick. You know what I like? Cybergoth. Cybergoth is fucking cool. Does that answer the question? I feel like that probably answers the question. Let's have a look at this moth beanbag. A moth beanbag chair with Afghan blanket wings. That's cute. Look at that. That's adorable. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. Gonna goth for 30 years. Pink and colors are just as goth as black is. Not recommending Amazon, but this is the kind of thing you're looking for? Yeah, pretty much. I'd get around in this. And yes, we do have some stuff up here about fascism. I was reading about fascism. This is cool as fuck, dude. Yes. Dude, hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the price tag. Don't look at the price tag. It's like when your mum shows you a cute toy in the store as a kid and you don't look at the price tag because it's like $600. Nailed it on the Wimixon thing. Best summary of the problem you've heard. Yeah. It basically just excludes people. So I think the labels that we give ourselves in society are important, especially as queer people, as actual legitimate marginalized identities. Having those labels, having not just, being able to fall under the label of woman, but also the label, like, if a trans man falls under the label of man, but also having the label of transgender means you have the opportunity to be integrated into the community of transgender people. It's easy to find people who align with the labels you give yourself. I hope that covers that well enough. Is that good? Not adorable. Where you look at the price tag, and then you realize it's just a very flimsy piece of fabric. And also moth wings. Oh yeah, this is the same thing. This is the same thing, but on Etsy. This is the same thing, but on Etsy, Unicorn. So the Amazon page looks like it's the same thing as the one that's on Etsy. It does just look like a very flimsy piece of fabric with a big print on it, shaped a certain way, but cool regardless. I'd buy it. If I had the money for that and I could easily put away like a third of that in savings at the same time. That's what I'm I heard Pixel talking about this the other night. She was talking about the idea of like, if I'm going to buy something, I need to be able to put a third of that away as savings. And I'm like, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, can I afford to put $70 odd away in savings on top of purchasing that, if I wanted to do that? Can you get an answer about your last message? Let me go back. Would it be too much to ask if you can put your Etsy in chat? You absolutely can, Rena. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Go ahead. You are a delightful friend. Honestly, you know what? Is this gonna work? There we go. I gave you a little diamond. Being in several categories yourself, you just like to see people as people, not race, gender, fat, thin, etc. People say people can do that. I understand that. I understand that viewpoint. The idea of seeing people as people is honestly kind of a utopian stance to take. In an ideal society, we wouldn't have those labels. Everybody would just be whoever they are, and we wouldn't need those labels to define ourselves. But people say people can't do that, yeah. But the social conventions that make up our society today, the very fact that there are people in marginalized groups, for example, makes those labels necessary, to be able to define. And honestly, we could stretch this even further into tonight's theme of fascism, because those labels have been used in past fascistic environments to round up people of a certain label, people who fit a certain moniker. But yes, labels do serve the purpose of solidarity. If we have the queer community, for example, that's honestly the LGBTQIA+, or the queer community. Quite frankly, I hope we can dispose of the LGBTQIA+ tag and just not dispose of the tag, like the tag on Twitch, but like brand us all under queer, because that is definitely a reclaimed word amidst the queer community. That whole movement of queer people is solidarity. Like, we have all these queer people who know each other, and without that label, especially in a society that specifically isolates and targets those people, it makes it more difficult for those people to find each other. Make authentic Blackfoot native dream catchers. If you want to have a look, code PLEASE for your friends will get you 30% off. That's lovely. Let's have a look. Here we go. Custom-made dream catchers. Lovely, lovely. There you go. Thank you for that, Rena. Food acquired, good. Labels serve the purpose of solidarity, one of the many contradictions of capitalism. As Marx pointed out, capitalism is full of internal contradictions. Anyone willing to fight capitalism has to be savvy and destroy it from within as opposed to from outside of it. Which is honestly cycles back around to the person who was attacking me recently until I blocked them and banned them and all of that. They were specifically going on about how I was criticizing Twitch. All the time. I criticize the systems that make up Twitch and trans tags soon, fingers crossed. But anyway. Yes, I'm going to criticize Twitch, and on my YouTube channel I'll criticize YouTube if the opportunity presents itself. Because criticizing those systems from within those platforms, if I go and I criticize Twitch on some blog somewhere, who's going to see it who's relating to Twitch? On the inverse though, as someone who is in the Twitch community, you know, when I make commentary on Twitch on Twitter, or if I criticize Twitter or whatever, you know, there's going to be a number of people who are streamers themselves who are going to react to that post in some way, shape, or form. You'll be trivialized when you do it from the outside. Yes, exactly. You got to criticize. You got to work on the system from within the system. Anyway, Alphabet Mafia gets used on TikTok. That's a good one. Context is also very important. Like you've heard many trans women say that when media covers them, they make it important that the audience knows they're trans. Or if people introduce people like, here's my trans girlfriend, they're just women. Honestly, I have a story about that, Crystal Faye. Let them mention their transness when they want to, if it pertains to your specific conversation. Yes, there was a case that I had of someone who was specifically telling their friends, like when we were out together, they introduced me to some friends and they were just like, this is my trans friend. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, I didn't tell you you could do that. Don't do that. It's really weird. Like, you didn't, you know, I didn't say that you could say to your friends that this is your trans friend. It's really awkward, you know, that authority should fall to the person who has the label, you know. Support people who want to be themselves. Well, yeah. That's like, yeah, it's outing somebody, basically. For context, you're also a trans woman. I think I sort of inferred almost. I just get the assumption nowadays that anyone who comes into my chat most of the time is either A, a leftist, or B, queer in some way. Although occasionally we get a few righties, which is interesting. Don't out your trans friends as trans. Yeah, it's not okay. Do criticize a lot of things, but do it when it's right to do so. If you nail it, it's not like you say bad things when it's not deserved or without reason exactly. You know, reserve your criticisms for the time when they are most pertinent. There are a ton of problems with this platform that could be talked about ad infinitum, but that would get boring. And quite frankly, the reason for tonight's topic, if we want to stay on the idea of relatively relevant stuff, I don't know if I read this entire article or not. No, I don't think I did. Alright. I wanted to talk about fascism tonight, because a few core tenets of fascism are things like a misleading reality. For example, like the way that fascist nations, the way that fascist, let's just say fascist nations, the way that fascist nations rise up is by incorporating into the narrative and the propaganda that feeds into the populace is one of a false reality, you know? And that's the core thing. Fascism is capitalism in crisis. Thought it was communism is capitalism in whatever. Anyway, look. Or no, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Fascism is capital. Yeah, no. I misinterpreted. Have a good one, Fox. Have a good sleep. Have I read Eco's Fascism? No, I have not. Sorry. I'm going to try to, like, mute my sniffles, because I don't know why I get so sniffly. It's frustrating as all hell. Anyway, I found this article, not live science, this article by the Sydney Morning Herald. Last hydrate, okay. Sucks to use one's friends as accessories, yeah. I'll give it a look, Amator. Thank you for the recommendation. Defiant counselor comes out as gay while annihilating a pathetic bigot upset over a pride flag. That's great. Oh, defiantly came out as a lesbian. I've seen this. I have seen this. I can try to read that for the stream if you want. I honestly kind of wanted to look up Mussolini's not Communist Manifesto, that's Marx. Mussolini's Fascist Manifesto, which is not called the Fascist Manifesto, mind you. Benito Mussolini. What do you call a mosquito that is a fascist? Sweaty and feeling sassy, love to hear it, Black Cat. I will save that link and we'll come back to it. I don't know if we'll have time tonight. We could do that as a whole thing. We could do a whole stream on this. Save that in my learning folder. So anyway, there's this article. And this is what spurred on tonight's topic. Not the super straights being stupid. The stupid straights. It's our turn inside the Christian Right Conference plotting a political takeover. Now this is, like, I'm just going to read some of this. And you tell me to stop when you hear a fascist point. You know, I get the feeling, honestly, a bunch of us know what the basis of fascism is, the foundation of it is. Stop? Yeah, like, we're already there, the headline. Okay. Craig Kelly was lauded as a hero, a federal MP likened his colleagues to nappies, and people joked about needing a world war to distract from gender identity debates. Hey guys, the transgenders are causing too much of a distraction. Let's start a war. That'll help. Found it. Literally the first sentence. Oh mate, Caliphate Craig. Yep. But the main lesson from the Church and State Conference last weekend. Give me a fucking second. Just give me a second here. The Church and State Conference. The Commonwealth shall not make any law for establishing any religion, or for imposing any religious observance, or for prohibiting the free exercise of any religion, and no religious test shall be required as a qualification for any office or public trust under the Commonwealth. I wish I could do this without glancing away to my stream deck. Anyway. Kids can't be trans if they're dying in war, especially now that, like, you know, well, at least in America, they're allowing trans people to enter the military service. So, you know, you got that going for you, which is nice. If you want to be trans, you can now get shipped off to die in Afghanistan. Fantastic. Anyway, the main lesson from the Church and State Conference last weekend in Brisbane was how conservative Christian activists are attempting to grow their numbers and influence within the coalition and believe opposition to transgender rights will be key to their political success. Just gonna keep doing this. Anywho, I wonder if that'll become a thumbnail. Here is this Facebook post. There is a pressing need in Australia for God's people, ordinary people of courage and conviction, to rise up and take their rightful place in politics and culture. This summit will encourage and educate Christians to have the necessary confidence to be effective in their roles as dual citizens of Australia and the Kingdom of God. Folks, you live in a secular nation. My done face? I have so many of those. Anyway. Several prominent Christian right figures spoke of the need to be more explicit in their political activism, especially in the Liberals and Nationals. Nationals. Oof. Can we get some oofs in chat? In the face of what they called an existential threat to the practice of Christianity. Let me just look something up really quickly. Okay, so as of 2020, Christianity makes up 31.11% of the world's population. Keep in mind there are other religions. Yes. That's a lot of Christians. So why do they think there is an existential threat to the practice of Christianity? You're one of the most popular religions in the world. That's still too many. Anywho, I am very atheist. Liberal National MP George Christensen said it was simple maths that getting more Christians into the coalition would change its centre of gravity. Politics is all about numbers, he said. The more people you have in that broad church that are from the conservative Christian wing, the more it's going to lean in that direction. Conference convener Dave Pello, who once appeared in an infamous selfie with members of the neo-fascist Proud Boys group, I'm not nihilistic looking enough tonight. I should have done my nails. Man in the Christian. Anyway, neo-fascists implored the audience to join political parties. When you add a bag of salt to a cup of water, it's going to taste salty. It's just a numbers game. He said, it's not branch stacking, it's participation. It's what they've been doing with the Frankfurt School and the infiltration of the institutions for 50 years. It's just turning up, and it's our turn to turn up. What's the salt to a cup of water thing? When you add a bag of... What's the point he's making here? When you add a bag of salt to a cup of water, it's going to taste salty. Thanks, Captain Obvious? Does that metaphor make any sense to any of you? Yeah, the more salt you add, the saltier it tastes. Science. Genius. Mr. Christensen also advocated Christians take a smarter approach to debate by self-censoring some of their agenda. Oh my god! Like... Let me reiterate this point. Mr. Christensen also advocated Christians take a smarter approach to debate by self-censoring some of their agenda until they were in power, i.e., deceiving the populace about your stances until you're in power, politically lying so that once you get into power, you can execute those obviously very fascistic ideas that you have. We have got to pick the battles we can win on in the public arena in order to get elected to be in government and then prosecute the other battles while you're in government, he said. This is literally, that's flagrantly against their stone tablet rules. Got to keep the racism on the down low for now. Yeah, exactly. Like, how is this anything but? The obvious point comes in a complex garb. Classic fascist. The Christians are salty bitches? Yes, they are. Add some salty people and the whole group becomes across that way. The Dawson MP said politics were driven by volunteers and donations, and so people should be clear when donating to a politician that they expect the MP to hold true to their fascist values. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread. Christian values. There's a transactional tension that keeps people honest, he said. Politicians are like nappies, they need changing every so often for the same reason. Yeah, they need changing every so often to more progressive ones. This is the problem that we have with our society. With this society steps on people and treats them like trash. Tomorrow night I'm coming on stream in full Joker makeup. Good lord. Yes, they do need changing every so often. To the left. Keep that way. Because my camera's mirrored. Push that way, please. Stop pushing to fascism. Stop trying to wipe all these people out that you don't like because they're not white or heterosexual or cisgender. Oh my god. So when the politician reaches that reason threshold, you might want to suggest to them that their welcome has run out. You're no longer going to donate. You're no longer going to volunteer. Martin Iles, the head of the Australian Christian Lobby, get ready for this one, referenced his organisation's campaign against Victoria's recent ban on conversion therapy, on practices that attempt to change or suppress someone's sexuality or gender identity, which he said yielded 13,000 calls to MPs. You want to know why it yielded 13,000 calls to MPs? You want to know why there was a ban on conversion therapy practices in Victoria? Because conversion therapy is literally abuse. It's literally a method of torture often performed on children in religious households. They get sent away to conversion camps where they are tortured and psychologically manipulated into suppressing their gender identity or their sexuality. And these people are against that ban. What's more, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work at all. Yes, fascism is traditionalism, rejects modernism, progressiveness is modern, therefore it sucks according to the fascists. If you hate fascism, hit me with a Twitch Prime. All of a sudden, I'm actually seeing people rising up more and more, he said. Give this a couple of years and we'll be able to put a shockwave through any parliament in the country. They won't even know what hit them, and we're almost at that point. Mr. Iles called upon Christians to be more politically visible, claiming this had worked for LGBTQI activists. Yeah, because progressivism is a good thing and fascism is a bad thing. Anyway, if you meet someone from that movement, you know very quickly, he said, you'll also find them in hospitality, the arts and entertainment, in public-facing positions where they're visible all the time. Retail, clothing shops, and this kind of thing. They're very, very muscular in saying, we're proud of who we are, and you, my employer, need to affirm my pride. Because we're an oppressed minority. You're the majority, Christians. You, the Australian Christian lobby man who looks like that. Silent Storm, thank you for continuing the gift sub you got from Yara. I appreciate that ever so much. Heteronormativity is the social norm. Christianity is the assumed social norm. Being cisgender is the social norm. These are the defaults. These are the... Can I be an asshole? Why would you want to be a default character? There's a reason people buy skins in Fortnite. You know? People want to have the capacity to allow themselves to express who they really are. People want the society they live in to say, we care about you, we love you, and you can be who you are. And these people specifically don't want that. Who hasn't played a lesbian badass on Skyrim? I never marry any characters in Skyrim. Even Isolde. I never marry any of the characters in Skyrim. It's just a waste of time. Can you get that on a t-shirt? What did I say again? Ezra Pound. I'll have to give them a look. Something like that. Nobody wants to be a default character. There's a reason people pick skins, buy skins in Fortnite. Yeah, anyway. Mr. Iles said Christians tended to hide in plain sight. The more we are seen for who we really are, the more powerful our influence is actually going to be. The more we are seen for who we really are. They so desperately want to be oppressed. These people so desperately look at actual oppressed people who are given the opportunity to have things like Mardi Gras, Pride Parade, etc., to celebrate their actual legitimate uniqueness in society in the face of generations of social oppression. Meanwhile, the Christians have held the position of power and privilege for so long. They have never known what it is like to be oppressed. They have never known what it is like to have virtually no privilege in society. And the few minimal privileges that you do have are completely cast aside in favor of the things that society says, hey, that thing about you is fucked up. You know? These people so desperately want to be oppressed. The ACL director also spoke at length about what he called the transgender thing, describing it as the weakest part of the LGBTQI rights movement because it was where the lie is most fragile. In prepared marks, he said governments had given up their God-given duty. Again, we live in a secular society. Secular government. To punish those who do evil and reward those who do good. This is not a part of our Commonwealth state of law, or whatever the fuck you call it. This is not part of our government. Punish those who do evil and reward those who do good. That's biblical text, which is not relevant to our government. Secular leadership. And implied that behavior viewed by the church as sinful should be outlawed. No. No. What the church views as sinful and thus evil should not be word of law. Governments should say, that's wrong, it's out, and that's right, it's in, Mr. Isles said. What's happening is the opposite. What they're saying is, that's wrong, it's in, that's right, it's out. No, they're not. You're a flagrant liar, Mr. Isles. In a later panel discussion, Mr. Isles joked that his father often said, we need a good war to sort this out, and there's a little bit of truth in that. Because society would not be so concerned about climate change or climate change. Oh my fucking god. Climate change or gender identity if we were at war with China. These people are deranged. These people are deranged. Mr. Pello then interjected, like, he really just wants, like, this dude literally just wants to chain up the transgenders and the gays, put them in concentration camps, and then he wants to send off all the good little 18-year-old boys to China to mow down some yellows. That's what he wants. That's what this bloke wants. Quite frankly, straight up. He wants to commit genocide on them Asians, on them slopes, and he wants to lock up anyone who doesn't meet his Christian conservative values. Exactly, Rebel. Imagine glorifying war publicly. These people are legitimately deranged. Anyway, we're at the end here. Mr. Pello then interjected, we're not advocating violence or revolution today. ... Today. Not yet, that's down the line. Oh my god. Why do you need more violence? How about you be decent people? That'd be good. In another conference session, Cardinal George Pell, who, by the way, is a convicted child molester. Can we just clarify that Cardinal George Pell is a child molester? He molested children. Cardinal George Pell is a child molesting individual who went to court for molesting children. To clarify on that point, in case you weren't aware, urge the audience not to cooperate with attempts to change Christian language patterns about gender, motherhood, and fatherhood. Politely, stubbornly, persistently refuse to be silenced and refuse to give ground. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? The Australian Christian Lobby did not respond to requests for further comment. Mr. Pello said he had nothing to add and suggested buying the conference videos when available later this month. Yeah, I'm not going to give these cunts money for that bullshit. This is, quite frankly, the most fashy shit I think I've ever seen in my life. This is the most fashy shit I have seen in my fucking life. This is exactly what it is. This is exactly what fascism is. So first and foremost, like, the first thing that they do is that they want to get you on their side, right? So what fascists will do is they will convince you that they're going to put in, like they mentioned this, they mentioned, don't tell everyone about your policies right away. Don't tell anyone about your political ideas. Keep some things to yourself. Keep some things hidden away, until you're in government, until you're in power. So they will tell you throughout their entire political campaign, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other. We're going to do all of these things. And then once they're in power, they're not going to do those things, which is exactly what past fascists like Hitler and Mussolini literally did. They lied throughout their entire campaign that they're going to fix this problem and that problem, and then when they got into power, they didn't do any of it. And then they used their considerable power as influential propagandist people to influence the populace. So in this circumstance, again, Christians, a majority population, Probably more than likely white Christians. And we come back to this thing here, the anatomy of fascism, basically. Supporting the group feels more important than maintaining either individual or universal rights, which is what the guy was arguing in favor of. You know, we need a good war to sort this out. Get everyone rallied into this collective hive mind. Believing that they're a victim, trying to convince that all these Christians that they are a victim of the transgenders, you know? That's what they were explicitly saying, you know? The belief that individualism and liberalism enable dangerous decadence. What do you think they think gay people and transgender people are? Definitely decadent. That'd be their primary definition, because anything that can be seen as self-liberating, like being queer, to them is sinful, goes against their God. A strong sense of community or brotherhood? Churches. Just churches. This brotherhood's unity and purity are forged by common conviction, if possible, or by... Drum roll, actually, I've got a drum roll. Give me a second. Drum roll, please. Exclusionary violence, if necessary. Individual self-esteem is tied up in the grandeur of the group. Nationalist pride. Christian pride. You know, they see self-worth as being a part of this massive, controlling collective. They see it as superiority, supremacy. Funny, that word. An enhanced sense of identity and belonging. Extreme support of a natural leader, who, get this, is always male. This results in one man taking on the role of national savior, the white hero complex. The beauty and violence of will when they are devoted to the group's success in a Darwinian struggle. Let's just bring up the article again and mention, for context's sake, just like I didn't say it. I didn't say it before. I didn't say it. I just sort of indicated. There's a word. There's a word. I can't. It starts with an A. Kind of sounds like the name Aaron. Aaron. Or Alien. Aaron, Alien. I don't know what the word... I can't think of it right now. Somebody hit me. What's the word I'm thinking of? This bloke here has a distinctly kind of like... If you put Aaron and Alien together, you get Aryan. You know? Is that a word? Is that a thing? Am I being too facetious? Are you not getting it? Like... The bloke looks Aryan as fuck. Ayn Rand? That'll do it. Yeah, we'll do Ayn Rand. Oh my god. So one of you should have called that out earlier. Honestly, I'm disappointed. For that one, I expect at least 3 more subs. Come on, reasonable sub goal. 5. Capitalism tries 24/7 to rob people of their own identity and of their means to do so. When things come to naught, fascism is the result. Therefore, fascism is capitalism in crisis. Very good point, Amator. Trying to figure out your wording on that. I'm sorry. Should be more careful about how you look on stream. You have asthma and I took your breath away, Xavier. I love your face. It is very late. It's 11:24 p.m. I'll be going to bed soon. But yes. There we go. Like, that's a whole thing. I'll give you the article if you want to read it, because like I used to have this viewpoint that it's just never gonna happen. You know, these kind of views, my original opinion was like, these people are too radical. They are entirely too far off the deep end that anyone would ever take them seriously. No way, nobody would ever take these people seriously. And then the stuff with the Proud Boys in America happened. We've had white nationalist supremacists marching here in Australia as well. Like, fashy movements are picking up steam, and it's fucking scary, dude. Yeah, I mean, realistically, yes, Louis, like, it does come down to bigotry. At the end of the day, like, the economic anxiety, I think, fuels that bigotry by way of propaganda, right? So the propagandist needs to come to power in some way, shape, or form. My hair looks like shit tonight, and I hate it. I'm cute, thank you, creep. So yeah, like, the capitalism in crisis thing has a point, but the bigotry needs to stem from the failing capitalism to lead into a fascist nation. Bigotry is intensified and at the same time incentivized, and we've seen it happen time and again. My hair looks nice, thank you. I just don't like when you can see my scalp here. It makes me feel very self-conscious, because I have a widow's peak hairline. You can see it if I go to this camera. And I don't know how to style... Oh, no you can't, but... I don't know how to style my hair. So I just do the same thing every day. That was some good-ass pink Moscato. And I don't even feel tipsy, honestly. That's good, I suppose. On fasci right-wing movements, they've been active. They have been active for a while, they have. But the problem now is they're getting traction, like serious traction. These movements have not been away. The KKK never left. Neo-Nazis never left. Like, the Nazis themselves never left. They were always there. They were just sort of hiding in the background and stewing in their echo chambers, right? And they've been incentivized and incensed by recent events, recent times, by bigotry. I'm not sure about elsewhere, but in the US there will be a fascist uprising far before there would be an action on the left. We'll go quietly to the camps. That's what I fear, honestly. I do dreadfully fear that. And what are we supposed to do in that circumstance? I worry that it's going to happen here in Australia, and like I actually do have quite a bit of dread around this whole thing. What's going to happen? You know? We need to do everything we can to put stoppers in fascism. And I don't even know what to do, quite frankly. Used by governments as a distraction in the UK, as soon the government started to get called out over COVID, suddenly migrant boats at the channel were a massive problem for the press to obsess over. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yet some of the conservative politicians are still delighted to be photographed with key members of the Proud Boys. Like, a noted, violent, fascist, and white supremacist organization. Misogynistic organization by their own definition. Actually, it's not misogynist. The word they use isn't misogynist. It's chauvinist. Chauvinist organization. You hate seeing your hairline on camera. Yeah, it's the angle. Like it looks fine in the mirror. Like it's the angle. I'm never seeing my hair from this angle unless I'm looking at the camera and looking at the screen where it's presented. So yeah, I have that problem of like, you know, I don't like seeing it. Let's see the widow's peak, but also lots of gorgeous girls have a heart-shaped face like that. Well, true. Voorhees, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? I guess grassroots activism and political organizing, but there's so much fascism to combat. Yeah, one of the major issues that fascists tend to use and far-right folks tend to use is like, while the left are trying their best to break down all of the things that the fascists are saying all the time, the fascists are dropping a point and moving on to the next one and just constantly spreading ignorance and bigotry over and over again. It's a very creative endeavor they're involving themselves in. And the left has to take that and say, okay, well, here's why this is wrong. Here's why this is wrong. Here's why this is wrong. And they just, you know, the right keeps moving forward with their ideology, and the left is stuck back here trying to argue against the points they're making. You know, watch again, like if we come back around to people like Ben Shapiro and Isaac Butterfield and all of that. You watch their videos and they'll start on one point, and then they will just ramble on with a bunch of tangentially related shit. And it could take you, you know, in 1 minute they've said one topic, and in the next minute they'll go on to the next topic, and they'll just keep shifting. The topics are probably generally related to each other, but they'll start on one thing, and then they'll immediately move on to the next one, and it could take you 10 minutes to break down that 1 minute of bullshit they've said. And that's a common tactic that the right uses. Howdy, Kiara, how you doing? Yeah, heteronormativity is entirely not made up. You don't even need a link. Have you seen Society? Have you seen Society? There's my argument. I mean, not recently, true. Have you seen social media, at the very least? You don't debate the right, you just smash them. I've got a sword. I can't smash, but I can stab. I should carry my letter opener more often, just in case I come across a fascie. Just like, I'll go to jail for stabbing a fash. Let's go. Another right-wing tactic is to make bold-faced statements that appeal to an audience without evidence or truth. Bingo! Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. Their technique and their, the fact that it works. Disgusting. Gaming Cat, welcome back. How you doing? Played a great big game of GTA 5 online with the right? What do you mean? I haven't played GTA 5 in a while. I think there was actually an article recently. What was it? Let me think here. Will be bigger. What was it? Expanded. There was an article that really like bigged up the expanded and enhanced PS5 and Xbox One, Xbox Series. Sorry, whatever. Xbox has confusing naming. They're going like, oh, GTA 5 expanded and enhanced. It's gonna be even bigger and better on the next console system. And it's like, we all fucking played this game already. Just make a fucking new one. Good lord. Anyway. I should definitely we should build a Minecraft server. Built upon the Communist Manifesto. Heck, Yara, I like the Matrix ref. I like it. Do your civic duty. Stab a fash today. I'm going to advocate stabbing fascists. Oh, if I had the patience to moderate a Minecraft server, we could do that, but I don't. I do not have the mental fortitude to do moderation of a Minecraft server, sadly. Minecraft is good, and if you wanted to do like an economic system in Minecraft, can you get away with saying this on Twitch? It's almost midnight. I don't care anymore. Stab a fascist in Minecraft. We'll skin the zombies to look like Nazis, so we could just stab the Nazis all the live long day. To make matters even more coherent with that regard, you know, the Nazis come out at night and try to snatch the Jews away, as they were known to do. Anyway, I mean, they did it in the day as well. You know, neither here nor there. Anywho, so we've sort of gone over some of the basic little elements of what leads to a fascist uprising. But one of the major issues with fascism is the difficulty of definition that has come with it. We all generally have an idea that fascism is bad, right? In our heads, we just say to ourselves, fascism is bad. And one of the problems with that is that since Nazi Germany and fascist Italy, since Mussolini and Hitler, and I think France as well, fascist France, fascism itself has become a political slur. If you disagree with a political opponent, you say they're fascist, but there are legitimate foundations upon which fascism is built that are actual valid things to state, to proclaim. Hang on, I think France was fascist. The French Popular Party, if I'm not mistaken, was a French fascist and anti-Semitic political party led by Jacques Doriot before and during World War II. That's not what I was thinking of. No, there was another one. Far-right movements in France. Maybe it wasn't specifically. Maybe it wasn't actually under fascist rule. I heard something about that. Anyway. Vichy France was fasci, but it was complicated, which is honestly the problem with fascism and the definition thereof. They were collaborators, there you go. Do not subscribe to Brit's 14 characteristics definition. Can you hit me up with a link, Story Girl, so that I can have a look at it? I would like to see that. Like, we know the base concepts. You know, fascism is founded on the dissemination of a fantastical agenda. You know, and a fantastical view of the world. For example, if we look at something that could be considered a fascistic fantasy of the modern world, it would be COVID denialism, for example, would be a fascist take. What's another good example? The idea, like the spreading of the idea that the vaccines for COVID are going to implant chips in your body. What else? They're going to make you sick. They're going to try to control you. They're going to try to track you with these chips, etc., etc., etc. You know. Here we go. 14. Here we go. The 14 Characteristics of Fascism by Lawrence Britt, published spring 2003. Anti-vaxxers in general are a fascist movement, yes. Because they explicitly operate on a false narrative, a false view of the world. And they spread that viewpoint to other people, which is the major issue. You know, as they use propaganda to spread that to other people. My makeup is a whole bop today. I like how it turns it into the hammer. Thank you. How you doing, Sonny? Britt analyzed several different fascist regimes and pulled out the things they had in common. I mean, this is kind of what this article on Live Science deigns to do. What is fascism? But it just fucking goes on and on and on, and oh my god, I can't. Like, I was looking for a synopsis, you know. Hold on a sec. Okay, so, I closed the Wikipedia article, which is not what I wanted to do. Anyway, political scientist Dr. Lawrence Britt recently wrote an article about fascism 18 years ago. This article can drink legally in Australia. Fascism, anyone? Free Inquiry, spring 2003, page 20. Studying the fascist regimes of Hitler, Germany, Mussolini, Franco, Spain, Suharto, Indonesia, and Pinochet, Chile. Dr. Britt found they all had 14 elements in common. He calls these the identifying characteristics of fascism. The excerpt is in accordance with the magazine's policy. The 14 characteristics are powerful and continuing nationalism, number one, powerful and continuing nationalism. Fascist regimes tend to make constant use of patriotic mottos, slogans, symbols, songs, and other paraphernalia. Flags are seen everywhere, as are flag symbols on clothing and in public displays. Sound like anyone you know? Sound like any kind of movements you know? Friendos? A very, very subtle reference to Trumpism. Jet Bigler, how you doing? I'm looking good today, thank you. Later than you thought, have a good one. Right, girl, have a good one. Thank you so kindly for hanging out tonight. Do I verify as a boy or a girl? What does that even mean? Yeah, Trumpism, Cult 45 is my favorite. Cult 45 is quite frankly my favorite. Fascism is an ultra-nationalistic, ultra-right-wing ideology that emphasizes a centralized economy, centralized government with a strong central control over the military and the secret police that endeavors to create, perpetuate, and protect and perpetuate unjust hierarchy. Pretty much. Number 2. Disdain for the recognition of human rights. Because of fear of enemies and the need for security, the people in fascist regimes are persuaded that human rights can be ignored in certain cases because of need. You might have heard this come up a bit. The people tend to look the other way or even approve of torture, summary executions, assassinations, long incarcerations of prisoners, etc. What are you two? You two are some letters on a screen. I'm a person. How are you? Thank you for the hydration, Sonny. When? I have another question for you. How is Gamora? What religion am I? I'm a Satanist. I'm wearing a pentagram. I'm wearing pentagrams right now. You can tell what religion I am. My religion is fuck your religion, cunt. That's my religion. 3. Identification of enemies / scapegoats as a unifying cause. This is what has me really worried about the current use of trans people as a scapegoat right now. It's fucking terrifying. The people of Rallifuck. Okay, maybe the Moscatos hit me a little bit. The people are rallied into a unifying patriotic frenzy over the need to eliminate a perceived common threat or foe. racial, ethnic, or religious minorities, liberals, communists, socialists, terrorists, etc. Fair Trade Binge, welcome to the Red Room, how you doing? Supremacy of the military. Even when there are widespread domestic problems, the military is given a disproportionate amount of government funding, and the domestic agenda is neglected. Soldier and military service are glamorized, which is already a thing that happens here in Australia, over in America. You know, military service is already glamorized. So for supremacy of the military. Those are pentacles. Yeah, I know that. Shush. Aren't they pentagrams? No, they're pentagrams. Hang on. Aren't they? Oh no, yeah, pentagram. Wait, is it no, look. This is confusing terminology. These are pentagrams. Pentacles have circles. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Alright, I'll take your word for it, Sonny. Whatever. Ooh! Look at that. Dude, that's cool. I want that. Can I have that? I want a pentacle necklace. Fuck yeah. Let's go. You know why I have a very Nietzschean approach to the idea of God? In that he is dead. Rampant sexism. The governments of fascist nations. Number 5. Rampant sexism. The governments of fascist nations tend to be almost exclusively male-dominated. Under fascist regimes, traditional gender roles are more rigid. Opposition to abortion is high. As is homophobia and anti-gay legislation and national policy. Number 6. Controlled mass media. You know Trump wanted to start his own television network? Fuck that. Sometimes the media is directly controlled by the government, but in other cases the media is indirectly controlled by government regulation or sympathetic media spokespeople and executives. Censorship, especially in wartime, is very common. Number 7. Obsession with national security. Fear is used as a motivational tool by the government over the masses. Quite honestly, all of this stuff feels like logical common sense. You know, I'm reading this and I'm just like, yeah, that's fascist. Yeah, that's fascist. Yeah, that's fascist. I'm gonna keep reading. Corporate power is protected. Hang on. Hold up. 8. Religion and government are intertwined. We haven't got to the corporate power yet. Governments in fascist nations tend to use the most common religion in the nation as a tool to manipulate public opinion. Religious rhetoric and terminology is common from government leaders, even when the major tenets of the religion are diametrically opposed to the government's policies or actions. Number 9. Corporate power is protected. The industrial and business aristocracy of a fascist nation often are the ones who put the government leaders into power, creating a mutually beneficial business-government relationship and power elite, which is quite frankly just how things are now anyway. You know, there's already a pretty mutually beneficial business-government relationship and power elite. There's no God. Sorry to disappoint you. I'll give you a sword story, girl. You seem reliable. Just give them a timeout to tease them, because they're such a bunch of piss-weak little babies. Look at them. Look at them! What are you, like 12? You know this is an 18+ stream, right? Like, you're not allowed to be here, given that this is an 18+ stream. This is for adults. The folks hanging out here need to be adults. Mature adults. And you are clearly a bunch of 12-ies. Who really need hobbies or like to focus on your homework or something. Anyway. Where were we? We did the corporate power is protected. Number 10, labor power is suppressed. Because the organizing of labor is the only real threat to a fascist government, labor unions are either eliminated entirely or severely suppressed. What has Amazon been doing recently with regards to unions? Go. I want you, chat, to tell me, just in a very basic TLDR, what Amazon has been doing with regards to unions recently. Oppression. And Musk. And Elon Musk. Busting. They've been union busting. That's what they've been doing. Amazon is fascist. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Fascist nations tend to promote and tolerate open hostility to higher education and academia. Why do you think so many rightoids on social media will say, oh, these dickheads from university are just spreading a whole bunch of bullshit that they learned at university. I'm gonna go back to working on the oil rig. Fucking dumb cunts completely coerced by the system that taught them that universities are a bad thing. And then they go and watch PragerU videos. What does the U stand for in PragerU? Something a university if it agrees with their ideas. Hey, go on, Ren, how's it hanging? Boomers, go to college. Also boomers, college teach you bad, only me right. It is not uncommon for professors and other academics to be censored or even arrested. Free expression in the arts is openly attacked, and governments often refuse to fund the arts. Sorry about the asshole. That's alright, Charlie. How are you doing? Number 12, obsession with crime and punishment. We were talking about this earlier. Hey, Guildfly, how you doing? We were talking about the obsession with crime and punishment earlier. If you commit crimes, hell, under a capitalist regime, you are punished. Given how close capitalism seems to be to fascism. Just saying. I mean, we were talking about, fascism as capitalism in crisis. Under fascist regimes, the police are given almost limitless power to enforce laws, like the thing with Derek Chauvin recently. Derek Chauvin, the man who knelt on a black man's neck for 9 minutes, or to be more specific, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, until said black man, George Floyd, suffocated and died. What do you think's going to happen to Derek Chauvin? Given that at the courthouse where they're going to try him, they put up barbed wire fences interlined with razor wire. What do you think's going to happen with the Derek Chauvin case? Anyway, under fascist regimes, the police are given almost limitless power to enforce laws. The people are often willing to overlook police abuses and even forego civil liberties in the name of patriotism. There is often a national police force with virtually unlimited power in fascist nations.
Thank you for your membership.
Lyrium Crow.
Please enjoy all the delights of the subscriber lounge.
Subscribed for 6 months in advance, you fucking legend. What? Oh my god, thank you. Thank you so kindly. That's amazing. That's baffling. 6 months in advance. Oh my god. Yeah, based on recent history, you think he'll walk. I reckon he will too, and I'm fucking annoyed with that. Annoyed is a minimizing word, yeah, but we literally have video footage of this man murdering a black person. Wait, who got timed out for 600 seconds? What happened? What did I miss? Was there someone I missed? It says Story Girl timed out someone for 600 seconds, and I don't know. I didn't see them in chat. Who are they? Okay, you mean whatever. I trust you. Pardon me, I'm just absolutely livid at the moment. Hate speech in Polish. Oh, was that way back? Okay, all good. I remember that. Number 13, rampant cronyism and corruption. Again, like a number of these apply to the society we already live in. That's scary. Fascist regimes are almost always governed by groups of friends and associates who appoint each other to government positions and use governmental power and authority to protect their friends from accountability. It is not uncommon in fascist regimes for national resources and even treasures to be appropriated or even outright stolen by government leaders. Funny how much this sounds like the USSR. Crazy, haha. Number 14, fraudulent elections. Sometimes elections in fascist nations are a complete sham. Other times elections are manipulated by smear campaigns against or even assassination of opposition candidates. Use of legislation to control voting numbers or political district boundaries, and manipulation of the media. Fascist nations also typically use their judiciaries to manipulate or control elections, which is exactly how America treats its citizenry. With, like we mentioned before, redlining and things like that. There's a not insignificant number of Democrat voters in Texas, for example, but because of the way that the state is gerrymandered, gerrymandered, they are unable to vote effectively in elections. So Texas is considered a red state when it could very well lean blue. Someone made a video that was just a black screen that read BLM for the exact same amount of time George was being murdered. It was a horrifying eye-opener for a lot of your family how long and agonizing it was. That's a good idea for a video. That person should be applauded for making that, honestly. That's a good point. How you doing, Leash? How's it going? How's it hanging? I can't believe we've managed to get through most of a stream without changing the title at all. Because we've sort of, generally speaking, stuck on fascism pretty hard. How do we feel about tonight's lesson, students? How do we feel about learning about fascism tonight? Even though, like, it was mostly the latter half that was actually fascist. Oh, the channel was Unus Annus, which was the Markiplier and what's-he-face? Ethan gameplays. I recall hearing about that. Crank gameplays and Markiplier. Uploading one episode a day while steering clear of normal gaming videos they are known for. I see. Yeah, I missed that whole thing. Yeah, Ethan Nestor and Markiplier. I missed that entire thing. It was only when Unus Annus was trending on Twitter that I knew it existed. I literally did not know it existed. I had no clue whatsoever. I am completely and totally out of the loop when it comes to, like, fancy social trends like that. When you were a child, you called your food teacher a fascist because you thought it meant racism, except with fashion instead of race. Oh, that's good. That's good shit. Found a thing that describes how the George Floyd situation makes you feel.
I am sorry. I am just.
Hang on. Let me just illustrate what Draco is trying to point here. How the George Floyd situation makes them feel. This is quite perfect, actually. This is actually quite perfect for this entire situation.
I am sorry. I am just absolutely living at the moment.
Oh, I'm laughing at the video, but the context is depressing. I'm gonna like this video. It deserves a like. Oh, okay, we've got more fascists in my comments on my YouTube video. So if you've not already watched my video on, oh my god, it has 780 views. That is a 40k reference. I'm gonna just drop this link in my chat right now. If you missed yesterday's video about what the fuck the super straights are, I urge you to go and watch that video and give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a comment. Give it some positive engagement, because it's currently at 20% like to dislike ratio, because it's been bombarded by the fascists who don't like the fact that their sexuality isn't an actual real thing. So I figured I might as well plug that right now while we have the chance. And also, because I don't typically talk much about my socials while we're live and streaming, it's always down here, by the way. Like, if you didn't notice this little socials panel I've got down here, we've got the Rogue Bitch socials panel going off every single day. I should add a Facebook one, honestly, because I do have a little Facebook page that I post things to. Anyway, just if you have missed any of that. Oh, I forgot to turn my sound back on. Honestly, we could analyze 40k. I forgot to turn my music back on. We could analyze 40k and the political themes therein, I think. I'd need to read more into the political themes of Warhammer 40k, but Warhammer 40k seems like literally every faction is as fash as can possibly be. And that's the point of the universe. It's kind of amusing in that regard. The Super Straights thing is just like a big troll from a fascist and we're helping them. Yeah, true. The major issue, Mega. Followed everywhere but Facebook. Oh, yeah, true. Real name. I understand that. What was I going to say? The Super Straight thing is like a big troll from the fascists and we're helping them. We are. Yes, it is a bad thing. But the real major problem is that these people are treating queer identity as a joke. And they clearly have a much bigger platform that is spreading, like, it's giving this thing a lot of attention anyway. Like, it already has a lot of attention to begin with. So if we don't respond to this kind of humor, which explicitly minimizes queer identities, especially trans people in this circumstance, then we're letting them just have that victory. You know, we're letting them just change more minds, because some people, I guarantee you, are not looking at this thing as a joke. Some people who agree with this thing are not looking at it as a joke. They're saying, yeah, you know what, I'm going to identify myself as super straight too. The super straight thing is what we're talking about at the moment. Let me think. People wonder what heteronormativity is, but then super straight spreads like wildfire in just a couple of days. Honestly, in one day. It was one day, quite frankly. I think there was build-up, though, because like I mentioned yesterday, the Urban Dictionary definition has been up since the 28th of February. But, yeah, or they wonder what heteronormativity is, quite frankly. It's ridiculous. I think I'm just going to start ignoring that video, generally, because I think it's just going to keep going off, and I'm not going to keep responding to it. I need to figure out how to turn off notifications for that video, though, because people keep sending comments to it, and I'm just like, I don't care, shut up. Good lord, just shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ, you are boring. You are literally the most boring default characters possible. So if I can find a way to turn this off, turn off notifications for one video, I'm going to look it up really quickly. Just turn off notifications for one video. Open the YouTube app. No. Turn off notifications for one of my videos. Tap your profile picture. Turn recommended. No. YouTube, you suck. YouTube doesn't have an option to turn off notifications unless I turn off all of my notifications. How would you approach my species? The same you would approach any other member of the human race. With politeness, courtesy, decency, generally speaking. You know, there's nothing wrong with treating a fellow human being with those three things. Yeah, YouTube doesn't have that kind of granularity. Sucks. Really don't know the most correct solution to anything. You just remember the last troll of minor attracted person. Yeah, the maps. Which seem to be a much bigger thing. Yeah, that stuck around for a bit, which honestly kind of worries me about this thing. Like, the straight pride parade thing as well. It's all that sort of stuff. No, Abby Thorne was able to do it. Really? Lucky bitch. I've got to watch her new video on capital punishment because it looks really good. Like anything she does, because I'm in love with her. I'm in love with ContraPoints. I'm in love with H-Bomber Guy, honestly. All the bread tubers. Lindsay Ellis. They're all so gorgeous. They're all just amazing people who actually have valid viewpoints. Like a normal human person with any form of compassion. Yes, exactly. H-Bomber Guy's been liking all your retweets. Oh, that's fucking cool. Dude. Thinking of getting into YouTube video essays. Yes, that's awesome. Love capital punishment. We should punish capitalists more. The super straights have mobilized and they understand algorithms. I know. Yeah, like the face paint in her thumbnail is, yeah, absolutely mesmerizing. Absolutely. Why is this music so quiet, dude? Give me a song that actually has sound in it. Okay, so, defining what breadtuber means. It's a bit tricky. It's like a baguette. It's, according to Wikipedia, a term used to refer to a loose and informal group of online content creators that provide editorial opinions, educational lectures from a socialist, communist, anarchist, and other left-wing perspectives. BreadTube creators generally post videos on YouTube that are discussed with other online platforms such as Reddit. BreadTube creators are known to participate in a form of algorithmic hijacking. I need to get on that action. They will choose to focus on the same topics discussed by content creators with a far-right politics. This enables their videos to be recommended to the same audience consuming far-right videos, which is kind of where I'm leaning a little bit, and thereby expose a wider audience to their perspectives. Many BreadTube content creators are funded through crowdfunding, working on that, and the channels often serve as introductions to left-wing politics for young viewers. I am tackling the trans women in sports thing soon. Who asked? The trans women in high school sports, I am doing that video this month. I am doing a video called Sports this month. Keep an eye on my YouTube channel. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go subscribe there. Also, apparently, this latest YouTube video that I have published, the plus side is it has gained. It's gained me over 12 subscribers today alone. Oh yeah, the actual foundation story girl. Kropotkin published a book called The Conquest of Bread. The Conquest of Bread. Bread is a theme associated with socialist discourse. Yes. And that is where the BreadTube name came from. There you go. Fascism is like racism, except against fascism. Except against fashion instead of race. This is why fascism is bad. Why fascism is bad. The disparaging the look. They're disparaging. Look at this. How can you look at this? If you say this is a bad outfit, you are a fascist. As in, you are racist against my fashion choices. It's kind of, yeah, actually, honestly true. Kind of true, because fascists hate art. I mean, like, look at what we typically assign. Look at what we typically see as the common fascists. I've noticed, common conservatives. One of the major themes. Sorry, you get to look at my scalp for a second because my hair hasn't been washed in like 3 days. Yeah, it's a dress. One of the major issues with conservatives. What do the men wear? What do the men wear? They wear suits. What do the women wear? They wear generally like dresses and coats. They all dress the same. They all look identical. They all do their hair the same. They're all like these people who are very much fascistic. Shorts, polo shorts, Ralph Lauren, but yeah. They have a very specific bougie look and they don't deviate from it. Anyone who's the least bit avant-garde is seen as weird and unusual. Even if all I want to wear is a denim suit. I want to wear a denim suit. Honestly, the crowning achievement of this Super Straight video, not the 165 dislikes, which are from a brigade of sheep, honestly, but the 45 likes on this video. This video has reached a pretty significant audience of people who agree with me, and I'm happy with that. That's fucking good shit, man. That signals to me that my YouTube channel is actually, getting a bit of traction there. How many people have died under capitalistic regimes, by the way? Of various methods. Just by saying... Yeah, do some reading. Just by saying you ain't a Nazi supporter, you should never feel the need to say that. If you feel the need to say that, there's something wrong with your political stance. There is something wrong with your political stances there, friend. I ain't a Nazi supporter is the exact same thing as saying, I'm not a racist, but George Floyd deserved to die because he had drugs in his system. That's exactly what you're doing. Please don't clip that, or I will punch whoever it is that does it. And I don't punch people. I don't like violence. Anyway. How dare you, Fate? Someone is probably going to look at that. If I get cancelled for that. Good. I would like the attention, please. Get me to partner this year. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I have a goal. We did raid Shadow Legends. I'm serious. If I get to partner this year, I am deadly serious. Fortnite stream. I'm not fucking kidding. Let's fucking go. If I get to partner within 2021, I will stream Fortnite. Only for one night. As my partner celebration stream. Because it's a form of self-flagellation, Yelville, honestly. I will harm myself for your engagement and entertainment. Not like literally harm myself. I will play a game that I do not like. Emu Wars partner stream, fuck yes. Anyway. Yes, I will play Fortnite on my partner celebration stream if I get there. I will do it. I will do it. Okay, so, can I just ask? Let me just go back through your messages here. Ghost Reaper. You came in with, we treat all people with respect. Hang on, let me scroll down a bit so I can actually see your messages properly. You came in with, we treat all people with respect, just don't like depressed ideology. Let me ask you seriously, but why, not trying to be rude, but why support communism? First of all, I never actually said I support communism. Not a single time during this stream, the last 3 hours and 15 minutes and 39 seconds, have I at any point said I support communism. I think you should read the Communist Manifesto, and I think there are some good ideas in it. But political and economic systems are far more convoluted than just I support X, I support Y, I support Z. Anyway, have you done any research into what happened in the past with communism? I am well aware of what has happened in the past. Again, these systems of society are based on, that's too complicated. Anyway, but then you get to I ain't a Nazi supporter. Again, don't open a sentence with that. Do feel the need you guys always call people supporters of that. It's like you came in here with all of this shit. You came in to ask questions. When the title is Fascism is Bad, actually. You came in here to say to respond to the title that says Fascism is very bad, actually. Not a good look. Very, very bad. Unprovoked. And yes, humans don't do absolute political ideologies in practice. Stalin was a fascist. What's your point? People can take left-wing ideologies and turn them fascist. They can. That's, why are you acting like I support Stalin or something? That is the same person that got timed out earlier. Honestly, I quite enjoy teasing the trolls because they keep coming back acting like they have any sort of stance or whatever. Your local Brisbaneite has entered the chat. Well, I'm glad to see it. By posting religious imagery in my chat, you have done something wrong. You get a half-hour timeout. Enjoy that. You can come back if you want, but I'm going to be ending soon. Fascists use anything against society. They do. Including the members of that society. I was going to open Reddit to try to raid someone. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. I was like hovering over my my bookmarked pages or whatever you call them. And I'm like, yeah, let's open Reddit. That's how I raid someone. Absolutely. Let's raid someone on Reddit, folks. You want to raid someone on Reddit? I'm having a look here. Who's live? Who is live and dandy at the minute, at the moment, at the right now? Let me think. Anying. Why do I care about what other people think? Because I want to change minds. Honestly. That's why I care what people think. I want to change minds. You could post the other 3 streamers who are online, if you want. Wish you could do just chatting streams in style. It's an effort. There's an effort involved. I'm honestly very fortunate to have had all of this, like most of this stuff, before I started streaming. The lights are very cheap, and the plushies I had most of the. Oh, actually, most of the plushies actually are relatively new. The only ones I already had were the Minecraft spider, the cat head, the Wind Rider, the Hearthstone, and the Lucas the spider. I need to get more plushies, but I bought the heart recently, the cat, and the unicorn today. Programmer Paul, welcome to the program. How you doing? Dando doing body art, urban bohemian playing Animal Crossing. Sounds pretty chill. Why support Satan? Because fuck Christianity. Fuck Abrahamic religions. Abrahamic religion is fascist. We already went into this. We covered that topic. So fuck. It's not like I worship Satan. I was looking at Pixel. She's playing Dota 2. And her view count at the moment is less intimidating than usual. I've wanted to raid Pixel for a while. I raided her a little while ago. But when she's doing just chatting late at night, she tends to shoot up to like 500 viewers or more. And I'm just like, I can't raid someone with that many viewers. I'd look pathetic. Oh, I only bought... Well, actually, the cat I bought the other week. The unicorn and the heart. All 3 of those, the cat, the unicorn, and the heart, all came from Kmart. But I bought the unicorn today. Is Satan the same as Baphomet? Probably. All these religious iconographies are, probably based on the same very basic concept. Look at my view count, you're intimidated. I'm looking at my view count and I'm intimidated. Why are there 60 of you here? Thank you. I love you all. But yeah, Satanism is secular. It's not actually about worshipping any it's not about worshipping any particular religion. My viewpoint is that Satanism is about freedom of the self. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of religious ideology. You know. I'm trying to raid. I'm trying to find someone to raid. I'm not raiding someone playing Apex Legends. Fuck no. Let me see here. I raided Dharma last night. I can't raid Dharma. Okay, Carp of Pax is reviewing Democracy Now. Let's have a look through these channels. All the big Satanist accounts on Twitter suck, but Satanism is pretty poggers. It is. You know, let's go to politics. Let's go to... They're actually streaming in politics. Let's go to Carp of Pax. Raid. Reviewing Democracy Now. Sounds like a good idea. They've been going for 3 hours too. I hope they're not ending at the same time I am. I can only stream for X amount of time before I get completely depleted and exhausted. You showed up late, Possum Queen. It's alright, there'll always be another one. I stream almost every night because I'm obsessed and I have a real issue with this shit. I mean, your recommends. Well, hit that follow and I'll be live tomorrow night. 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We talk politics, we talk philosophy. Thank you for the follow, welcome. We talk... Yeah, we did talk a lot of politics tonight, actually. We actually did talk a lot of politics. Megaspell, welcome to the Rogue Room as well. And we're going to head off. If you've not already, grab the socials. If you have Twitter, join the Discord. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is another YouTube channel if you want to watch my VODs back. I upload them as soon as I'm finished streaming, basically. I don't care about Twitch's rules. Maybe I should. You know, it might be a good idea if I actually did care about that, if I want to make partner one day. Follow my Instagram, follow my Facebook if you feel like it, and I will see you when I'm looking at you. Thank you so kindly for being here, folks. Hail Satan and all that sort of shit. Be an anarchist. Break a fascist kneecaps. Any of those. Have a good one. Institutional violence against fascists is good, actually.